Chapter 1881, Setting Up Formation. 1881 Setting Up Formation. Eastern Sea. To the east of the flourishing Bumpy Sea area, to the west of the Barbecue Islands, there was a unique and large sea area, Chi Sea. There was no water in Chi Sea, instead, countless Chi currents intertwined and entangled, forming swirls of millions of Chi currents. During the remote antiquity era, Chi Sea had an incredibly high status in the hearts of all Gu immortals in the world. Back then, Chi path flourished, it was the main Gu cultivation path, all other paths were non-mainstream. All paths were inferior to the number one Chi path. Chi Sea was incredibly big, it was a whole different world inside, countless Chi currents moved within it, destroyed and created at every instance. Back then, Chi Sea was the number one Chi path resource point in the 5 regions. But time passed quickly, eras changed. Chi path went on the decline, Chi Sea started to shrink. Right now, Chi Sea was less than 1/10,000th of its original size, the Chi currents inside had all turned into pure water Chi. Only at the most central area, there were still some Chi path immortal materials left. Chi Sea had once been the most popular place, it was now the most deserted area. It contained mostly water Chi. But in the whole of Eastern Sea, which sea area would have any lack of water Chi? It was easy to collect water Chi anywhere, why would Gu immortals go to Chi Sea on purpose to collect it? Even if they wanted to get other Chi path immortal materials, entering and exploring Chi Sea carried huge risks. They were better off just buying these immortal materials from Treasure Yellow Heaven. By holding this Eastern Sea banquet now, Chi Sea will become renowned in the 5 regions again. Fang Yuan's main body sat on a cloud as he looked down at the Chi Sea area. Looking from above, the Chi Sea area had waves of light blue in color as countless Chi currents moved in turbulence, it was a huge contrast to the surrounding sea water that was dark blue in color. Initially, when Southern Border's Rank 8 Gu Immortal Xianxia created the killer move Unlimited Chi Sea, he had obtained inspiration from this Chi Sea to a certain degree. Fang Yuan called himself Chi Sea Ancestor, he had not picked it randomly. He had already made ample considerations before deciding. For example, which sea area should Chi Sea Ancestor originate from, where in Eastern Sea did he live in seclusion? Fang Yuan chose Chi Sea for this. This place was deserted, barely anyone came here, it was extremely compatible with Chi Sea Ancestor's cultivation of Chi path as well. If he told others, they would believe him as this was very logical. At the center of Chi Sea, Dragonman clone Wu Shui transmitted, the formation has been prepared. This Eastern Sea banquet had significant meaning to Fang Yuan, he had made many preparations for this. Fang Yuan not only deployed Wu Shui for this, he even set a formation at the center of Chi Sea. This was naturally a Chi path formation. Fang Yuan's time path clone had Chi path Great Grandmaster and Formation path Grandmaster attainment levels, along with the Light of Wisdom, he spent a month to deduce this. At the center of Chi Sea, countless currents surged, they were turbulent from time to time, the area was very dangerous. Setting a formation in this place was quite difficult. But it was not a problem for Fang Yuan, he did not lack formation path attainment and he had ample resources, he was not trying to create a complex formation like the 9-9 consecutive unceasing formation, he was merely going for a usable and realistic effect. Fang Yuan's main body checked it with his divine sense and confirmed there were no problems, he shut his eyes and meditated. This Eastern Sea banquet was extremely important to him. He plotted using the world as his chessboard, he arranged pawns to influence the overall situation, such planning was not easy at all. In Southern Border, Fang Yuan's influence was small, because Wu Yong was gathering allies with his good political manipulation, there was nothing Fang Yuan could do to stop him. In Western Desert, even though Fang clan was rising, its influence would only grow with time. Furthermore, be they Heavenly Court or the other Western Desert forces, they would not want this to happen. Fang Dichang had a lot to do in this situation. Central Continent had Heavenly Court, it was impenetrable like an iron fortress. The zombie alliance that Shadow Sect created had already been uprooted along with the organization defied by Fairy Ziwei. In Northern Plains, Fang Yuan and Chu Du had a close relationship, but it could not affect the big picture. Even though Bing Sichuan had not awakened, Longevity Heaven was started to take control, Fang Yuan could not do anything there. Thus, Eastern Sea was an important part of Fang Yuan's plans and arrangements. Eastern Sea was the most abundant in resources. If he succeeds, when the 5 regions merge, Fang Yuan would have enough influence to affect the other 4 regions. A few minutes later, Fang Yuan opened his eyes as he muttered while looking at the horizon, "They're coming." An Immortal Gu house was flying in the sky. It looked slow but was moving at a rapid speed. The Immortal Gu house slowly stopped as a girl with bright eyes walked out. She was wearing a long dress that had exquisite rainbow clouds drawn on it. Hua Clan First Supreme Elder Hua Kaiyun greets Qi Si ancestor. Hua Kaiyun had rank 8 cultivation level, but she still acted very politely. Next, from Hua Clan's Immortal Gu house, several Hua Clan Gu immortals walked out and paid respects to Fang Yuan. "It is not time yet, you have arrived early, please come in." Fang Yuan stretched out his hand as Qi currents gathered, forming a cloud. Hua Kaiyun kept her Immortal Gu house in her immortal aperture as she took a seat, while the other Hua Clan Gu immortals stood behind her. "I was too excited to meet you for the first time. This is a gift from Hua Clan, please do accept it." Hua Kaiyun said as the Gu immortal behind her took out an item and presented it with both hands. Fang Yuan took a look. This was a lump of qi that resembled a ball. Hua Clan's Gu immortal was holding it out respectfully. There was flashing of lightning and rumbling thunder inside this qi lump. There was rainy or sunny weather occasionally inside, there was even snow at times. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light. He knew what this was. This was a rare rank 9 heaven qi. Heaven and earth qi were the foundational qi of living beings, they were very common. When Fang Yuan placed his immortal aperture and opened his immortal aperture's entrance, he would absorb heaven and earth qi to stabilize his sovereign immortal aperture. He had many secluded domains of heaven and earth in his immortal aperture. They expended too much heaven and earth qi, the sovereign immortal aperture felt a heavy burden due to them. Of course, after Fang Yuan annexed Qi Si Grotto Heaven, he gained a huge boost of Qi Path Dao marks. His immortal aperture started to produce a lot of heaven qi and earth qi. Fang Yuan's burden in this aspect had eased a lot. But the heaven qi that Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture produced or absorbed were ordinary Gu materials, they were not even considered immortal materials. If heaven qi was an immortal material, it would gather into a lump and could not be pulled apart easily. Its value would rise greatly, ordinary heaven qi could not compare to it. The usage of immortal material heaven qi was very easy, one just had to scatter it. Many Gu immortals used it like that. They would purchase a lump of immortal material heaven qi from treasure yellow heaven and scatter it inside their immortal aperture, creating different weather conditions like thunder, lightning, wind, or snow. This type of weather would last for some time. The resource points of Gu immortals would be altered in some ways as a result. Most transactions in treasure yellow heaven would involve rank 6 or 7 heaven qi. Rank 8 heaven qi was very rare, while rank 9 was barely ever seen. It was only sold once in 1,000 years or more. Hua Kaiyun gifted Fang Yuan a portion of rank 9 heaven qi. It showed her sincerity as well as Hua Clan's immense foundation. After all, Hua Clan was most proficient in cloud path. They were experts in exploring black heaven and white heaven. At the same time, in the river of time. 4 immortal Gu houses flew above the river. Present and past pavilion was not covered on all 4 sides, it was very simplistic, it traveled while riding the waves. 3 autumn yellow crane platform was elegant and grand, the orange roof resembled cranes with their wings spread out. The immortal Gu house was radiating 3 layers of autumn light, it was quite extraordinary. Shark flow lever was white like jade, there were 7 huge sharks in front of the lever, they had sharp teeth and were dragging the huge lever ahead. Moment stage was rank 8 and had a ring of stone stairs around the outside, it spiraled upwards until it reached the red-tiled pavilion at the top. The 4 Immortal Gu houses carried Heavenly Court and Central Continent Gu Immortals as they charged towards one destination, Red Lotus Stone Island. Within present and past pavilion, a rank 8 Gu Immortal stood as he watched the river water surging outside. This person wore a red and white robe, standing straight like a spear or sword. His eyebrows were sharp like swords, a mysterious and profound light was hidden in his eyes. He had a calm and elegant aura. He was looking afar now as he continued to focus and comprehend. It was Fang Gu. During this period in the river of time, I have observed this long river, I watched the prosperity and downfall of eras, I witnessed the turbulence of the past and present. Destiny is like a wave, it rises at times and falls at times, it is slow at times while fast at times. The profundity contained within cannot be expressed in words, I can only sing it. Fang Gu had been comprehending Destiny song all along. Different from the previous life, Fang Gu's destiny had changed a lot this time around. He was defeated by Fang Yuan in Langya Blessed Land, he was transported away by Chen Yi using the killer move Karma Relocation, he obtained the inspiration of Destiny song. This was way earlier than in the previous life. After gaining some insight, Fang Gu came to the river of time, he grabbed onto this inspiration and started to comprehend it. The river of time was a time path secluded domain, but Fang Gu made use of present and past pavilion to observe the life of people in the past and present, he saw many scenes. This was a great help towards his comprehension of Destiny song. Right now, his Destiny song was 60% complete, it was 10% higher than during the Central Continent Fate battle in the previous life. My Destiny song already depicts the destiny of living beings. But the destiny of venerables cannot be described so simply. Last time in Heavenly Court, I looked at reckless savages' blood skins and felt like they were incomprehensible. I hope that this journey to the Stone Lotus Island will allow me to gain further growth in creating Destiny song. We have arrived, it is here. Stone Lotus Island. Red Lotus True Inheritance. The 4 Immortal Gu houses stopped nearby, Eternal Yacht was already waiting above the Stone Lotus Island. Eternal Yacht was the first to discover the Stone Lotus Island, the Gu Immortals within it quickly informed Heavenly Court, they sent the other 4 Immortal Gu houses to join up with it. Fang Gu looked over with an expectant gaze. Gu Lu Ru who was within moment stage had a complex expression. We finally found it, the hard work of our Heavenly Court over generations has not been in vain. After countless years, we have finally gained the fruits of our labor. Gu Lu Ru sighed deeply to himself. He had many difficulties in his life, his lower body was crippled and could not be healed, he had an impassive attitude but at this moment, he was filled with excitement, pride, and satisfaction. After breathing in deeply, Gu Lu Ru calmed down completely. He sat on his wheelchair as his eyes flickered with cold light, he ordered, set up the river suppression lotus ceiling formation now, I will lead moment stage while Fang Gu will lead present and past pavilion. Eternal Yacht will move out to the tributary's entrance and bring in our reinforcements. Shark Flow Lever and 3 Autumn Yellow Crane platform will patrol the surroundings, if anything shows up, inform me immediately. Yes. The Immortals replied as they started to move, executing great efficiency. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1882, Challenge. 1882 Challenge. The 3 supplementary formations are ready. A group of Gu Immortals ended their work, they sat down in the Immortal Gu house to rest and recover. The second group took over, on top of the 3 supplementary formations, they added a rank 8 Immortal Gu, Suppression. The second group had 8 Gu Immortals that were either rank 6 or 7, they worked together with great coordination, after some work, they finally added in Suppression Immortal Gu successfully. This was the River of Time, a time path secluded domain of heaven and earth, as a rule path Immortal Gu, it was not easy to use Suppression Immortal Gu here, the difficulty was high. But rank 8 Immortal Gu Suppression was one of the core Immortal Gu of the River Suppression Lotus Ceiling Formation, it had to be the first rank 8 Immortal Gu arranged here. After it, other steps could be taken. At this time, the second group went to rest while the first group came back to work. They were not continuing the setup, they were dismantling the 3 layers of supplementary formation that was created earlier. These Gu formations were meant to help Immortal Gu suppression find the proper area to be put in. After that, they had to be removed and make space for the next few steps of the Immortal formation. Good, the 3 layers of supplementary formations have been removed. Next, we will set up the Pale Fire formation. The third group of Gu Immortals took over. The first group of Gu Immortals were exhausted, they quickly went to rest. After the Pale Fire formation, we will set up the Paper Cage formation, let's go. The second group of Gu Immortals took over. If the River Suppression Lotus Ceiling formation was split apart, there were 138 sub-formations, the Pale Fire and Paper Cage formations were just 2 of them. Be careful, something has happened in the River of Time, a huge wave is crashing towards us. Someone alerted. At this time, the first group was resting, trying to recover as much as they could, the second and third group were busy setting the formation, the fourth group of Gu Immortals meant to deal with emergencies were activated. In order to create the formation, Heavenly Court split the Gu Immortals into 4 groups. The first group had the strongest formation path abilities, they were in charge of the core of the River Suppression Lotus Ceiling formation. The second and third groups had similar levels of strength, the fourth group had the least number of people, they had some level of ability in formation building but were meant to deal with emergencies. The fourth group of Immortals quickly acted and destroyed the huge wave. The second and third groups let out a sigh of relief. While checking that the formation was intact, they started to make preparations for the future steps. Gu Lu Ru and Feng Gu were stationed in Moment Stage and Present and Past Pavilion respectively. Feng Jiu's eyes were steady as he comprehended destiny, Gu Lu Ru had a deep gaze that was filled with alertness. We have found the stone Lotus Island, there is some commotion when we made the formation, Fang Yuan will definitely be alerted. He will definitely come here to cause destruction. The River Suppression Lotus Ceiling formation has not been completed yet, we are at our weakest now, Fang Yuan will definitely come to attack. This is an important matter. I need to make up for my mistakes, I cannot let Fang Yuan succeed. While thinking, a silvery light appeared on the horizon. Gu Lu Ru's heart immediately tensed. 3 autumn yellow crane platform and shark flow lever that were patrolling outside changed directions immediately, trying to obstruct the invader. It was Myriad, your flying warship. Gu Lu Ru, your heavenly court actually tried to take Red Lotus' true inheritance from under my nose, hehe, you are just dreaming. Myriad, your flying warship came rapidly as Fang Yuan's voice resounded from within. Gu Lu Ru snorted coldly, his voice spread in this entire battlefield, Fang Yuan, you are merely a loser that we defeated, was the painful lesson last time not enough for you? He was a time path grade expert, he was like a fish in water in the river of time. Rank 8 Gu Immortals of other paths would need a lot more effort to make their voice transmit around the entire battlefield. With me here, don't think of setting any formation. Before Fang Yuan finished his words, Myriad, your flying warship already started to shine with bright lights. These lights converged into countless silver flying swords as they shot out rapidly, towards the incomplete River Suppression Lotus Ceiling formation. Gu Lu Ru's expression was grim, he felt a headache, Heavenly Court's biggest weakness now was this formation. Fang Yuan ruthlessly attacked the enemy's weakness, Heavenly Court had no choice but to defend it, they were stuck in a passive situation. Last time, when Fang Yuan attacked the River Suppression Lotus Ceiling formation, Heavenly Court could dismantle the formation, but this time, with this Red Lotus Stone Island, they would preserve it even if they had to pay a huge price to do so. Boom boom boom. 3 autumn yellow crane platform arrived first, it fought against Myriad, your flying warship, there were many impacts that caused the water of the River of Time to splash and splatter. Shark flow lever arrived shortly after. As the 3 immortal Gu houses fought intensely in the River of Time, in the sky of Eastern Sea's Chi Sea, the scene was harmonious and joyful. After Hua Kai Yun, the Gu Immortals of Eastern Sea's super forces, Song Clan, Su Clan, and Kai Clan also arrived. The one from Song Clan was naturally Song Chi Yuan, he came to the banquet with Song Yishur. This is my granddaughter Song Yishur, after hearing of Senior's story, she became very excited, she asked me to bring her here and meet you. Song Chi Yuan smiled, he introduced his granddaughter Song Yishur. Song Yishe had lost her father long ago. As her grandfather, Song Qi Yuan doted on her. For this Eastern Sea banquet, he brought her here so that she would get to leave an impression on people. This junior pays respects to Qi Si ancestor. Song Yishe said politely. She had snow-white skin, her eyes were bright, she wore a blue-white dress and had an innocent aura. She was truly one of the 6 great beauties of Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. Similar to Hua Kai-yun, Song Qi Yuan also brought a gift. It was a Qi Path inheritance that Song clan had collected in its inventory. It originated from a historical Qi Path rank 8 grade expert. After Fang Yuan took a look, he saw that it was quite unique and had quite a bit of value. Fang Yuan smiled as he looked at Song Yishe. He displayed the concern of a senior. Song clan has a good descendant, a good junior. This is our first meeting, I cannot let you leave empty-handed. Saying so, he took out a rank 8 water path immortal material. It floated towards Song Yishe. Song Yishe was of great upbringing after all. She received the gift and quickly thanked him. Take a seat. Fang Yuan waved his hand as Qi currents gathered, forming a seat instantly. It was right below him and towards the left. Song Qi Yuan saw this position and became very happy. He quickly brought Song Yishe to take their seats. Song Yishe placed the rank 8 water path immortal material in her immortal aperture. She acted very modestly and gracefully, displaying the demeanor of a young lady in an esteemed clan. Hua Kai-yun laughed as she spoke. Song Qi Yuan, this is the first gift that ancestor has handed out. Had I known this, I would have brought my grandson as well. She was the earliest person. She had already conversed with Fang Yuan for some time. Their relationship had gotten much closer in this period. Song Qi Yuan laughed. He was secretly proud of this. Bringing Song Yishe here was really a wise decision. Song Yishe was looking at Qi Si ancestor for the first time. She was awe-inspired by his aura. This old senior is truly the #1 person in Eastern Sea, a person who rivaled Duke Long. He has the demeanor of a great person. He is so magnanimous and grand. If she knew that this person was Fang Yuan, who had once acted as Xianxia and watched her shower, she would not have such thoughts. Qin Yuan pays respects to Qi Si ancestor. Qin Yuan was the 3rd Eastern Sea rank 8 Gu immortal who arrived. Junior Qin Yu Zhiqing greets Qi Si ancestor. A youngster was behind Qin Yuan. He wore a green shirt and had a tall nose and flat face. His eyes were shiny like stars. He was a handsome and talented junior in Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. Good. Fang Yuan sighed and praised, assessing Qin Yu Zhiqing, another good junior. I have a gift for you as well. He gave Qin Yu Zhiqing a rank 8 immortal material as well. Qin Yu Zhiqing quickly received it with thanks. Hua Kai-yun gradually saw a pattern as she thought to herself, this Qi Si ancestor seems to enjoy helping talented juniors. Just from this point alone, one can see that he truly has grand disposition. At this moment, Nangong clan's Gu immortals arrived at the banquet. Hua Kai-yun's expression sank. This was because Nangong clan's first supreme elder brought Huan along. Huan was originally a Hua clan Gu immortal, but he betrayed Hua clan and joined Nangong clan. He had deep wisdom path attainment. He was one of the 3 wisdom path experts of Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. The saying goes, Jia Dan sits in Twin Polar, Huan hides in Nangong. There is also Dragon Head Tortoise, living inside Adversity Sea. Even though Hua Kai-yun was unhappy, she did not say anything. This was Qi Si ancestor's banquet. She wanted to get close to the #1 Eastern Sea expert now. She had to endure it. Eastern Sea's righteous path arrived one by one. The last one who came was the Grand Elder of the Merman Imperial Court. Fang Yuan said some words of consolation as he arranged for her to sit at the very end. After the Merman Grand Elder sat down, she sighed to herself internally. Even though this was her first meeting with Qi Si ancestor, this great expert was showing a good attitude towards the merfolk. Of course. The mermen were working with the dragon men. They were Fang Yuan's natural allies. Fang Yuan would not give her trouble. Seeing Fang Yuan's treatment of the Merman Grand Elder, Eastern Sea's righteous path Gu immortals fell into contemplation. River of Time. Myriad, your flying warship, was already at the inner area. Immortal killer move, Daybreak Sword. Swords moved out like an army of pythons, traversing the battlefield and attacking 3 autumn yellow crane platform. 3 autumn yellow crane platforms started to shine with a bright orange light, the strength of the silver flying swords weakened continuously. At the other end, Shark Flow Lever shot out 3 frost waves and froze the water of the river of time under Myriad, your flying warship. Fang Yuan grunted from within Myriad, your flying warship. Silver flying swords turned around and gathered in the water below the river. Immortal killer move, Torrential Charge. Myriad, your flying warship shot out like a meteor, crashing into the river suppression lotus ceiling formation that was still being set up. Boom! With a loud sound, Moment Stage blocked Myriad, your flying warship as the 2 rank 8 Immortal Gu houses collided. Moment Stage had a slight disadvantage while Myriad, your flying warship's advancement was halted. It was stalled by Shark Flow Lever and 3 autumn yellow crane platform which had caught up. Heavenly Court had deep foundation, they already prepared some methods to deal with Myriad, your flying warship. Myriad, your flying warship had gone through many battles, its methods were exposed, it could not do much in this situation. At this moment, 2 more Time Path Immortal Gu houses arrived as reinforcements. One was Eternal Yacht carrying Xingyi Wang, the other was Sun and Moon Temple carrying 9 Spiritual Fairy. Heavenly Court's reinforcements arrived. For rank 8 Gu Immortals, 6 Time Path Immortal Gu houses. Heavenly Court's Morale Sword. Eastern Sea, above Qi Sea. Qi current surged and formed into a vast cloud. Qi Sea ancestor willed as countless dishes and delicious wine emerged from these currents. It was finally time. Qi Sea ancestor wanted to raise his cup and announce the start of the banquet when a voice resounded in the sky. Black Soul Sea Lord would like to request a spar with Qi Sea ancestor. Next, his rank 8 aura filled with dark energy loomed over the entire area. The Eastern Sea Immortals were stunned before their eyes started to shine. An Eastern Sea rank 8 was actually challenging Qi Sea ancestor. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1883, Ancestor, S Divine Might. 1883 Ancestor, S Divine Might. Moment Stage, Present and Past Pavilion, 3 Autumn Yellow Crane Platform, Eternal Yacht, Shark Flow Lever, Sun and Moon Temple. Gu Lu Ru, Feng Jiu Gu, Xingyi Wang, 9 Spiritual Fairy. Heavenly Court gathered its forces in the River of Time, it was bent on getting Red Lotus true inheritance. In contrast, Fang Yuan's side only had Myriad, your flying warship, even though it was rank 8, against Heavenly Court's grand force, it was too small. Heavenly Court had 6 Immortal Gu houses and 4 rank 8 Gu Immortals, they surrounded Myriad, your flying warship completely. Myriad, your flying warship fell into a tight spot, but Fang Yuan spoke calmly as he smiled. He, you want to occupy the stone Lotus Island? Since I cannot get it, neither will any of you. Immortal killer move, Myriad, your hunting. Fragrance spread from Myriad, your flying warship, it quickly dispersed and caused countless Dao beasts to resonate and growl. A wave of a year beast tide was rapidly forming. In the previous life, Fang Yuan cooperated with Bing Sai Chuan and fought against Heavenly Court over this Red Lotus true inheritance. In the end, Feng Jiugu acted and destroyed the stone Lotus Island. This time, Fang Yuan made the same choice, he used Myriad, your hunting to summon an endless beast tide that targeted the stone Lotus Island. This method was Myriad, your flying warship's strongest ability. It had an evident weakness, however. The year beasts did not differentiate enemy from ally, in fact its main target was Myriad, your flying warship itself. Last time, Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals fell for Fang Yuan's scheme. They thought that he could control the beast tide and slaughtered a large number of year beasts, taking most of the damage for Myriad, your flying warship. After suffering a loss, Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals realized that Fang Yuan could not control this beast tide either. The weakness of Myriad, your hunting was already known to Heavenly Court. But this time, Fang Yuan used it to target Heavenly Court's weakness. They were setting up the river suppression lotus ceiling formation now, they had no choice but to fight against these beasts. Gu Lu Ru snorted coldly, this scoundrel is very devious, he used this move after all. He had a calm expression as he instructed his people. Eternal Yacht and Shark Flow Lever left the battlefield immediately to head to the outside. At the same time, 9 Spiritual Fairy jumped out of her Immortal Gu house, turning into an immemorial desolate beast to leave the battlefield. Heavenly Court had the advantage while Fang Yuan's Myriad Your flying warship was encircled. He could not stop these people from escaping. After leaving the battlefield, Eternal Yacht and Shark Flow Lever shined with a bright light. 2 auras resembling years flow like water. Immortal Gu started to spread out. The newly formed beast tide was instantly lured to these 2 Immortal Gu houses as 80% of them rushed towards the 2 Immortal Gu houses. The remaining 20% were intercepted by 9 Spiritual Fairy who had turned into an immemorial desolate beast. She took control over them. It's her indeed. 9 Spiritual Fairy, a rank 8 great expert that cultivated enslavement path and transformation path in Central Continent's history. Within Myriad Your flying warship, a Gu Immortal had already discerned 9 Spiritual Fairies' identity. Right now, Fang Yuan's main body was in Eastern Sea, only his will was inside the ship. The will could think and make comparisons to his previous life's events. Nine Spiritual Fairy did not wake up in the previous life, but this time, she woke up and even earlier in time. This was a very different situation. After she turned into the immemorial year beast, the river of time was no longer an obstacle to her. Even though Heavenly Court could not counter Myriad Year hunting directly, they found ways to deal with it. They analyzed the concept of Myriad Year hunting and targeted it, resolving the year beast tide that had yet to fully form. Next, even if your beasts emerge, there would only be a few of them. They would not be of a threatening scale. This was Heavenly Court's foundation. It was also the reason why Fang Yuan had been concealing his strength and methods all along. Once he exposes his methods, Heavenly Court would rapidly react and make deductions. They would counter his actions in their next encounter. This was the case for Daybreak Sword, Torrential Charge, and Myriad Year hunting. Myriad Year hunting, which could change the situation, was resolved by Heavenly Court before it even showed effect. The remaining 4 Immortal Gu houses surrounded Myriad Year flying warship tightly as they unleashed a barrage of attacks. Fang Yuan, if you still have any methods left, use them. Gu Lu Ru smiled coldly. Within Myriad Year flying warship, Fang Yuan's will was silent. He did not respond. The battle continued. Myriad Year flying warship was kept suppressed and unable to turn it around. Even though it tried to break out several times, it did not succeed. Over at Heavenly Court's 4 Immortal Gu houses, Moment Stage was in front, as a rank 8 Immortal Gu house and with the time path great expert Gu Lu Ru stationed in it was not inferior to Myriad Year flying warship. At the same time, the other 3 Immortal Gu houses worked together to assist it. Their cooperation was not simple. They were very effective in their actions. Evidently, during this period of time, these Gu Immortals did not slack off. They had practiced extensively and their battle strength rose greatly. Fang Yuan is already trapped. He is not a threat. Be careful, we cannot be careless against this demon. Our river suppression lotus ceiling formation is almost complete. What can Fang Yuan do to stop us? Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals had a surge of morale. Many of them could already see the sight of Fang Yuan's defeat. But at this moment, a grand aura surged from the stone Lotus Island. Golden light flashed as a gray stone giant stood up slowly. This giant was immensely tall, its muscles were bulging, its hair was thick, its eyes shined with a fierce beast light. What monster is this? It has time path aura. We have not explored the stone Lotus Island yet. Why did the guardian of this stone Lotus Island awaken? Oh no, the river suppression lotus ceiling formation has not been completed yet. Heavenly Court's Gu Immortals had changes of expression. The giant roared. It was actually the sound of a tiger's roar. The sound waves spread out in all directions, causing huge ripples to form around the island. The river suppression lotus ceiling formation shook intensely. The Gu Immortals setting up the formation spat out mouthfuls of blood. Quick, stabilize the formation. Paper cage formation was broken, we need to repair it. Fourth group, Gu Immortals of the fourth group, quickly reinforce us. The Gu Immortals setting up the formation became very busy. After the gray stone giant roared, it moved its arms, the muscles on his forearm and upper arm expanded like a balloon, to 3 times of its original size. Pitch-black bull horns grew on its forehead, it lowered its head slightly as its arms gathered in front of its chest, it opened its palms and placed them together, air currents surged and gathered between its palms, creating a spiral ball made of currents. Gu Lu saw this as shock appeared in his eyes. He understood, these air currents were just the physical appearance, these were actually time path Dao marks. More and more time path Dao marks were drawn by the giant and gathered into a huge silver ball. The ball became larger and larger, the giant monster growled and pushed with both arms, throwing the silver ball with all its strength. The silver ball flew like a meteor, shooting out and causing endless gusts of wind to blow. Central Continent's righteous path Gu Immortals were deeply shocked, their pupils shrunk when they saw this giant silver ball's might. Quick, we need to block it. Gu Lu gritted his teeth, he forcefully controlled Moment Stage to block the advancement of the silver ball. Boom! At the next moment, an intense sound erupted, the silver ball crashed into Moment Stage and burst out with terrifying might. Moment Stage was like a house swept by a typhoon, it flew away even when resisting. We blocked it. Moment Stage stopped eventually as Gu Lu let out a breath of turbid air. Moment Stage was already damaged beyond words, it was filled with cracks, countless mortal Gu died while many immortal Gu were injured. The Gu Immortals inside Moment Stage were already very busy, they could not stay as carefree as when they encircled Fang Yuan anymore, they quickly tried to repair the immortal Gu house. The aftermath of the silver ball explosion caused intense winds to blow, the river suppression lotus ceiling formation was still affected and damaged, many Gu worms died, the Gu Immortals setting up the formation were very busy trying to fix it. Seeing that its attack did not work, the gray stone giant started to gather a silver ball again. Gu Lu saw this and gritted his teeth, he controlled Moment Stage to charge down. But as Moment Stage got close to the stone Lotus Island, it gave off a brilliant light and a formless force blocked Moment Stage from approaching. Using this time, the gray stone giant gathered another silver ball in its hands. The ball shot out, Gu Lu had no choice but to grit his teeth and resist the silver ball again using Moment Stage. Boom! Another explosion resounded, after the intense impact, the front part of Moment Stage was completely devastated, a large number of tiles and bricks flew out and turned back into Gu worm corpses. The gray stone giant saw that its method was obstructed once again, it became infuriated as it growled and gathered another silver ball. Gu Lu frowned deeply, this giant is using a very familiar time path method. To think that Red Lotus Demon Venerable had left this behind. But even if I know about its information, for now I can only block its attack by sacrificing Moment Stage, I need to protect this river suppression lotus ceiling formation. Thankfully, we have this Moment Stage. Gu Lu felt glad in his heart. The signature method of Moment Stage was to teleport from one location to another location in a moment's time. This was not a space path method but a time path method instead, it was not teleportation in essence, but was the act of using Moment Stage to compress its time into a moment. If the distance was further, it would take several moments. Gu Lu wanted to protect the formation, he had a clear objective. As long as the formation was set up, it would isolate this place from the outside, the stone Lotus Island would not be able to escape, all of Red Lotus arrangements on this island would weaken slowly and be resisted. And against outside force, there would also be a strong layer of protection. By then, even if Fang Yuan wanted to enter, with this formation and several immortal Gu houses around, it would be difficult. Fang Yuan evidently understood this logic, Myriad your flying warship tried to move in different directions, the remaining immortal Gu houses were just rank 7, they could barely contain it. This was like a thin fishing net trying to capture a shark. Heavenly Court's situation was getting worse, Gu Lu snorted coldly and came out of Moment Stage, joining the encirclement of Myriad your flying warship. He was a time path great expert, he could move and act freely in the river of time, with his interference, Heavenly Court stabilized the situation once again. Persevere, persevere and we will gain victory. After this period, when the formation is completed, it would be Fang Yuan's time to die. Gu Lu took charge of the situation. He dealt with Myriad your flying warship while raising the morale of his people. Eventually, the river suppression lotus ceiling formation was completely set up. It formed a huge sphere that not only surrounded the stone Lotus Island, but also Myriad your flying warship. The formation activated, the grey stone giant grunted as it felt a strong suppression. Myriad your hunting was also restricted, the fragrance could not spread out, a beast tide was unable to form. Get rid of Fang Yuan first, then explore the stone Lotus Island. Gu Lu shouted. Without the threat of Myriad your hunting, Eternal Yacht, Shark Flow Lever, and 9 spiritual fairy returned in time, they joined the encirclement against Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, this will be your final resting place. Gu Lu's eyes shined with bright light, he had a cold expression. Is a demonic overlord going to die here? Feng Gu squinted, inspiration regarding Destiny song emerged in his heart. Let's not wait any longer, kill him. Xing Yiwang moved Shark Flow Lever and assaulted with deep killing intent. 9 spiritual fairy was silent but her movements were not slow. She got around to the back of Myriad your flying warship as her aura burst out, she prepared her killer move. But at this moment, Fang Yuan's cold snicker resounded in Myriad your flying warship. Oh heavenly court, you have already been trapped, can't you sense it? Before he finished his words, stone Lotus Island erupted with a bright light, tens of water pillars shot up around the island. The light and water pillars forcefully connected into the river suppression lotus ceiling formation. The central continent Gu immortals who were inside became dumbfounded. Someone shouted, what is going on? We lost our control of this formation. This was not a simple change of events. Heavenly Court's 4 rank 8s were in deep disbelief but the facts were in front of them, this was all Fang Yuan's trap. I did not waste a stone Lotus Island to trap you after all, this is not the place I will die, it is yours. Fang Yuan said so as the grey stone giant on the stone Lotus Island grew chicken wings and feathers, its hands turned into tiger claws, its mouth turned into a beak, it flew up and barged past the encirclement, paving a way for Myriad your flying warship. Realization flashed in Gu Lu, he finally understood what this grey stone giant was, he shouted in shock and anger, this is the 12 Zodiac battle formation. To think that Fang Yuan had this method. This was all Fang Yuan's trap. He has already obtained Red Lotus True Inheritance, he can control the stone Lotus Island. This 12 Zodiac battle formation is likely the content of the True Inheritance, his time path foundation grew immensely, he is able to suppress our formation instead. We cannot stay here, we need to retreat. The 4 Heavenly Court rank 8s discussed and decided to leave. But the awkward thing was, this river suppression lotus ceiling formation that they set up with so much work was their biggest obstacle at this moment. Want to leave now? Too late. Fang Yuan's laughter could be heard inside Myriad your flying warship, daybreak swords flew out and shot towards 3 autumn yellow crane platform and shark flow lever. The grey stone giant growled loudly and pounced at present and past pavilion. Present and past pavilion had torrential waves around it but the grey stone giant ignored that, it advanced and slammed down with its fist. The grey stone giant was just too big, its fist was larger than present and past pavilion itself. Before the fist landed, sounds of tiger and dragon roars resounded in the battlefield. The might of the fist was simply destructive and unrestrained. Feng Gu squinted while the other Gu immortals were fearful, against this fist, they felt like the world was collapsing, any attempts to dodge it was futile. They could not dodge. Boom! An intense explosion resounded as present and past pavilion crumbled at the impact of the grey stone giant's fist. The injuries and deaths inside were severe, Feng Gu barely managed to escape in a sorry state. Moment stage. At the crucial moment, Moment Stage teleported over and took in Feng Gu. The grey stone giant completely ignored the Moment Stage that was nearby, it turned around towards Sun and Moon Temple. Sun and Moon Temple was a time path immortal Gu house of spirit affinity house, it was weaker than the rest, when the grey stone giant approached, Sun and Moon Temple could not escape in time. The giant was too fast, it was inside the river of time and had the power of the stone Lotus Island boosting it, its current battle strength was simply unheard of. Boom! With a second explosion, Sun and Moon Temple shattered, most of the Gu immortals inside died. No. Gu Lu gritted his teeth, his eyes were red from anger, his body was shaking from hatred. The Heavenly Court Gu immortals were no longer as confident as before, they wanted to escape for their lives now. The Grey Stone Giant's battle strength made them feel deep despair. Eastern Sea, above Qi Sea. The Gu immortals were very excited as they looked at Qi Sea ancestor and the owner of the Black Soul Sea area, Zhang Yin. Zhang Yin was a lone cultivator with rank 8 cultivation level, everyone knew him in Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. But they did not expect that he would challenge Qi Sea ancestor. Although thinking about it, it was not strange. Back then, the fight between Duke Long and Qi Sea ancestor was only witnessed by Song Qi Yuan and Shen Songsheng, and these two were righteous path Gu immortals. Under everyone's gaze, Qi Sea ancestor smiled lightly. Gu immortal Zhang Yin, you are very courageous, but will you be able to handle one move from me? Zhang Yin smiled arrogantly. Ancestor, you underestimate me, not just one move. Ugh. He suddenly stopped as the other Gu immortals' expressions changed. Instantly, they felt the entire world buzzing as countless chi currents gathered from all over the place. Within all the surroundings, pressure intensified. The immortals' pupils shrunk, cold sweat flowed down as they felt unparalleled pressure. They were like insects trapped in amber, fragile and helpless. What killer move is this? Is this Qi Sea ancestor's method? We are merely feeling the side effect. What pressure is Zhang Yin, who is bearing the brunt of the attack, feeling? The immortals looked over. Zhang Yin's face turned red, he did not move in the air, his eyes were bulging as he struggled, he only trembled as he could not break free. The immortals were all shaken. A loud sound could be heard from above their heads. The Eastern Sea immortals quickly looked up and all of their faces turned pale as paper. A huge hand completely made of chi currents was translucent and pale white, it extended an enormous distance, shrouding the skies itself. The giant hand pressed down as all of the Eastern Sea immortals felt suffocated, it was as if a mountain was crashing down upon them. What sort of power is this? If I were not here personally, I would never believe it. I'm afraid this strength is on par with rank 9. Qi Sea ancestor. At the banquet, many Gu immortals stood up uncontrollably, their bodies shook as fear overwhelmed them. Zhang Yin shouted with all his strength, his entire body was radiating dark energy as mild lightning flashed weakly, he could not escape, he was trapped and fixed in the air. Seeing this, Song Qi Yuan and the other rank 8 Gu immortals were all incredibly shocked and fearful. It looks like Zhang Yin has used his full strength, but he cannot escape at all. Is he going to die? Qi Sea ancestor's battle strength is so terrifying. Does he wants to leave a deep impression on us and use Zhang Yin's life to raise his reputation in Eastern Sea? It was unimaginable, a rank 8 Gu immortal was completely helpless against Qi Sea ancestor. But the truth was right here, Song Qi Yuan and the other Eastern Sea Gu immortals had to believe it. As the Qi current hand approached Zhang Yin, it slowly disintegrated and went past Zhang Yin, slamming into Qi Sea. There was no heaven-shaking explosion. After the Qi current hand came into contact with Qi Sea, it quickly scattered and fused into the sea. Zhang Yin regained freedom, he felt deep lingering fear as his clothes were filled with sweat, he had a fearful look as he stared with wide eyes, breathing roughly. Look at Qi Sea! Song Yishir shouted. Everyone turned to look, the treacherous and turbulent Qi Sea filled with countless spirals had been completely calmed, it was like a mirror now. Eastern Sea's immortals were very shocked, many of them opened their mouths but could not speak. Ancestors' divine might, I have fully experienced it. Zhang Yin let out a breath of air as he paid his respects, thank you for sparing me. Qi Sea ancestor was still sitting at the main seat, his eyes were barely open as he waved his sleeves lightly, take a seat. Thank you. Zhang Yin took his seat amidst the silence. Many of the Eastern Sea immortals were still standing, those who were seated were not feeling any better, they were all like statues. Qi Sea ancestor defeated Zhang Yin in one move, he had truly intimidated all of them. Ancestor has divine might. After a while, Song Qi Yuan reacted as he stood up, respectfully praising. Ancestor has divine might. Shen Songsheng also stood up and praised with respect. Ancestor has divine might. Ancestor has divine might. Countless Eastern Sea Gu immortals stood up to pay their respects, they were completely in awe. Fang Yuan smiled lightly as he said, "Everyone, take a seat, the banquet is beginning. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1884, Qi spreads in 5 regions. 1884 Qi spreads in 5 regions. The stone Lotus Island ambush that Fang Yuan planned had already ended. A grand light filled heavenly court, but in central Great Hall, the atmosphere was grim. At the crucial moment, Gu Lu Ru blocked Myriad your flying warship while risking his life. I managed to live because of him. 9 spiritual fairies said this as she coughed blood again. Tears were in her eyes, the scene of Gu Lu Ru defending them with his life surfaced in her mind again. 9 spiritual fairy had a beautiful face, she liked to wear a long robe and wave her sleeves around, she had a graceful aura, but now, she was covered in blood, wounds were all over her body, her sleeves were cut and dangling. 9 spiritual fairy's thin body was completely fragile at this moment, covered in this large robe. In this battle in the River of Time, Heavenly Court had the absolute advantage at the start, but later, they lost completely. The 6 immortal Gu houses were destroyed, only 2 Gu immortals, 9 spiritual fairy and Feng Gu, managed to escape. Feng Gu was in the hall too, he lost his cool demeanor at this moment, his eyes turned dim as they lost their light, he showed an expression of loss and perplexity. Fairy Ziwei sighed to herself, she instructed them to go recuperate. She learned of the result of this battle already. She called for 9 spiritual fairies so that she could gain more information about the minor details. To think that Fang Yuan obtained the stone Lotus Island long ago, how did he do it? We did not sense it at all. Fairy Ziwei deduced quietly, she could not find any answer. Because of this, Heavenly Court lost this battle completely, they fell into Fang Yuan's planned trap, their losses were severe. Duke Long smiled bitterly. The truth is, we had guessed that Fang Yuan might have a Red Lotus true inheritance already. But in the previous battle, Myriad your flying warship was forced to escape from us, it was useless even if they tried to make use of the River of Time's dangerous terrain. Now it seems that Fang Yuan had purposely did that so as to lure our attention, he wanted to fight for Dragon Palace and also to prepare for this battle, to make us underestimate him. This is truly a devious and scheming demon. Then, when did Fang Yuan obtain Red Lotus true inheritance? So be it if he got it recently, but if he obtained this stone Lotus Island long ago, that would be a very scary situation. Fairy Ziwei thought about it as she felt a chill down her spine. Right now, Heavenly Court was facing a difficult situation. However, no matter how tough the situation was, Heavenly Court had to face it directly, they could not try to dodge it. Duke Long said solemnly, even if Fang Yuan obtained 1 Red Lotus true inheritance and gained 12 Zodiac battle formation from it, we need to continue putting our forces into the River of Time. This was only natural. There was more than 1 Red Lotus true inheritance, if Fang Yuan obtained a second or third one, he would become even scarier. From Heavenly Court's perspective, the River of Time was an important area they had to guard, Red Lotus true inheritance was something they had to obtain. This situation might only change after they successfully repair Fate Gu, but now, Heavenly Court had to start all over again, after losing 6 immortal Gu houses, they would have to build 6, or even 10 more. Fairy Ziwei nodded slowly, she had a serious expression, she shared the same opinion as Duke Long on this matter. But Fairy Ziwei showed a look of difficulty. There were problems in this too. If they wanted to send more Time Path battle strength into the River of Time, the best method was to send Time Path Gu immortals. But because of Red Lotus Demon Venerable, Heavenly Court's foundation in Time Path Gu immortals was very weak. Without any Time Path great experts, they could only make up for it using Time Path Immortal Gu houses. Heavenly Court lost 6 Time Path Immortal Gu houses, the losses were too severe, they needed to rebuild these houses and needed a large number of Time Path Immortal Gu for them. Even though 9 Spiritual Fairy and Feng Gu were still alive, they did not bring back many Immortal Gu. Heavenly Court needed to refine many Time Path Immortal Gu to rebuild their Immortal Gu houses. And in this aspect, Gu refinement immortal materials were not a problem. Heavenly Court had an immensely deep foundation of over millions of years, it was not for show. Heavenly Court's 3 million years worth of accumulation was split into 3 treasuries of early, middle, late. Each one represented 1,000,000 years of foundation. They had placed all of their gains in that time period into the respective inventories. Any one of these million years treasury had more things in it than any of the 10 great ancient sects. In order to refine rank 8 fortune rivaling Heaven Gu, old ancestor Shui who went bankrupt. Even with Fang Yuan's current foundation, he did not dare to refine rank 8 Immortal Gu. When normal super forces try to refine a rank 8 Immortal Gu, they would expend a good deal of their foundation. But for Heavenly Court, not just one, even if they refined 10 of them, their foundation would not be shaken. Heavenly Court did not lack immortal materials at all, they lacked refinement path great experts. Yuan Xiongdu was a refinement path expert, he had been in charge of repairing Fate Gu. But asking him to refine time path Immortal Gu on top of this was just too much for him. He was just one person, he had limited time and energy. If 1 or 2 refinement path experts could wake up in the immortal graveyard, it would be great. Fairy Ziwei thought to herself, regrettably, the immortal graveyard was not subject to external influence, she could not wake up any Gu immortal she wanted. Duke Long also noticed this problem, he thought about it and said, then rally the 10 great ancient sects, we can even unify the refinement path Gu immortals of other sects and send them all here, get them to work together and refine time path Immortal Gu. Fairy Ziwei nodded, Yuan Xiongdu had important matters to do, he was in charge of repairing Fate Gu, Heavenly Court had to do this now to deal with the current problem. Fairy Ziwei sighed internally, if we had succeeded in invading Langya's sect and taken control of it, that would be great. This would not be a problem for us now, it was a pity that Langya's sect ended up in Fang Yuan's hands. Heavenly Court had lost that great first step and now, they were facing problems because of it. In contrast, by using his refinement path advantage, Fang Yuan was giving problems to Heavenly Court now. Yuan Xiongdu could feel this most deeply. Fairy Ziwei and Duke Long had grim emotions. Fang Yuan's victory in the River of Time was a devastating blow to Heavenly Court. But the River of Time was just one aspect, Heavenly Court's overall situation was worsening. In Northern Plains, Longevity Heaven had been trying to unify and gather the whole strength of Northern Plains' Gu immortal world. In Western Desert, Fang Dichang refined Divine Beam Palace and was bringing Fang Clan to rise up as the leader. In Southern Border, even though Wu Yon was close to Heavenly Court, beacon towers were being built everywhere, it was becoming a problem for Heavenly Court. As for Eastern Sea, according to our newest information, Qi Si Ancestor defeated Zhang Yin using a single move. Zhang Yin is a famous Eastern Sea rank 8 lone immortal, but he could not fight back at all. Qi Si Ancestor's battle strength is very terrifying, after this battle, his reputation soared, even more Eastern Sea Gu immortals attend his banquet now. Fairy Ziwei showed a worried look. Duke Long nodded, even for me, achieving this would not be easy. It seems that Qi Si Ancestor has gotten stronger, according to his words, his battle strength rose after comprehending primordial origin true inheritance. After defeating Zhang Yin, Fang Yuan declared frankly to the Eastern Sea immortals, his battle strength had risen once again, it was because he obtained primordial origins Qi path true inheritance from Heavenly Court. Duke Long continued to speak, since Qi Si Ancestor said that, it shows that he is close to Heavenly Court, but still wants to remain as a neutral party. This person can be swayed towards us. Qi Si Ancestor had stayed in seclusion for so long even though he had strength that rivaled Duke Long, it showed that he had no ambitions to begin with. Even if he had ambitions now, he was definitely more attracted to Heavenly Court, which had the complete true inheritance of primordial origin. As Qi Si Ancestor stayed as a neutral party, Duke Long and Fairy Ziwei became more assured of his stand. It was not just Qi Si Ancestor's personality, but also his lifespan that affected their judgment. Lifespan was the biggest element that restricted a Gu immortal great expert. Qi Si Ancestor looked like someone who was going to die soon, after all, using lifespan Gu would allow one to regain their youthful appearance. He was so old already, he likely used many lifespan extension methods. These methods all had flaws, they would make lifespan Gu ineffective. Duke Long did not have much longer to live, but he believed that Qi Si ancestor was in a similar state. Fairy Zi Wei suddenly said, since Qi Si ancestor said that, we can send Gu immortals to openly attend his banquet. Even if we did not receive his invitation, now that the entire world knows that Qi Si ancestor took our inheritance, even if we suggest a transaction, he cannot reject our visit. Duke Long agreed with this suggestion. Even if it failed, they would successfully probe Qi Si ancestor. Right now, the region's changes were not good for Heavenly Court, only Eastern Sea was relatively calmer. Heavenly Court wanted to make use of this, to ensure that at least Eastern Sea's forces were on neutral terms with them. Eastern Sea, above Qi Si. Ever since Fang Yuan defeated Zhang Yin, the number of people visiting this place had increased, the number of people attending his banquet multiplied rapidly. The Gu immortals who came would first go to pay respects to Qi Si ancestor, to take a look at this number 1 Eastern Sea Gu immortal. Qi Si ancestor and Duke Long's battle was already known to all 5 regions. After defeating Zhang Yin, Qi Si ancestor became recognized as the number 1 Eastern Sea expert, nobody doubted him anymore. The entire world was deceived by Fang Yuan. Zhang Yin was one of the 4 dragon generals, he cooperated with Fang Yuan, and because of the immortal formation under Qi Si ancestor's attack showed an incredibly powerful aura. Nobody knew that Zhang Yin was under control, even Duke Long did not know of Dream Token. In the previous life, he only found out the secret of the 4 dragon generals after obtaining Dragon Palace by force. Nobody guessed that Qi Si ancestor and Fang Yuan were the same person. After all, Fang Yuan only had rank 7 cultivation level while Qi Si ancestor was a genuine rank 8. Fang Yuan tried to conceal the secret of the sovereign immortal aperture to the best of his ability, he gave up some short-term benefits and obtained a much greater reward for it at this moment. Xia Baoshu arrived. He was handsome and had a warm aura, he looked like a graceful young master, he was a famous lone cultivator in Eastern Sea. He had a unique method of nurturing vicissitude trees, he was once a major seller of Gu, but Fang Yuan ruined that business. In the previous life, he had worked with Yu Xianzi to snatch the moonlight mushrooms of Fairy Yuhua. Zui Xianwen came too. He was a rarely seen food path Gu immortal, he was also the owner of Eastern Sea's Wine Sea. He had a collection of countless wines, he held a wine reception every year. This time, he brought 1,000 jars of top-tier wines and gave them to Qi Si ancestor as a gift. 7 Seas Snake Woman arrived. This was a beautiful but dangerous woman, she was very ruthless in her actions. Even though she was a lone immortal, she owned 7 sea areas, this showed her strength. At the same time, she was one of the 6 beauties of Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world, on par with Song Yishe. Great Treasury Immortal arrived too. This person cultivated information path, he was dressed in a gentlemanly attire, he had long sleeves that fluttered in the wind. In the previous life, he invaded Central Continent too, he stole Milan Guang's rank 7 immortal material electrolytic iron starflower. The Qi Si banquet caused a storm in Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world, all sorts of people showed up one after another. Among them, there were more lone immortals than righteous path immortals. Eastern Sea had more lone immortals than the other 4 regions to begin with, and they had the most abundant resources. At the same time, the righteous path had a lot of territory that needed guarding, lone immortals could move more freely than them. I, Central Continent Gu immortal Jun Shenguang, bring a gift to meet Qi Si ancestor, please forgive my intrusion without an invitation. Heavenly Court's rank 8 Gu immortal Jun Shenguang arrived. The banquet became silent, countless gazes looked towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan smiled and laughed in a light tone, an esteemed guest has arrived, what forgiveness do you speak of? The sea is wide and draws in all tributaries linked to it, my Eastern Sea is the same, how can we not have this bit of tolerance? Please take a seat. Fang Yuan waved his sleeve, a seat was formed again. Even though it was located at a good position, it was below the Eastern Sea rank 8 Gu immortal seats. Seeing this, the Eastern Sea Gu immortals' expressions relaxed. Eastern Sea was the most tolerant towards other regions' Gu immortals compared to the rest of the 5 regions, but they still had some sort of exclusion. Fang Yuan had already expected Central Continent's Gu immortals to come here. The truth was, he had been waiting for Heavenly Court's envoy to come here. Fang Yuan looked around, he saw that almost everyone was here, he started to speak, "Everyone, I have something to say." The place became silent again, everyone held their breaths, waiting for Fang Yuan's speech. Jun Shenguang saw this and became internally shocked. Qi ancestor had only appeared for such a short time, but his reputation in Eastern Sea had already reached this stage. Nobody dared to ignore a single sentence from Qi ancestor, in fact not a single phrase, or a single word. Fang Yuan did not say a lot of things, but he expressed his own political views: peaceful coexistence and mutual understanding, uphold justice, and resolve conflicts. Finally, he said, "This banquet is not to simply gather everyone here, it is also a transaction event, an auction, and also a battle stage. If anyone has conflict, you can engage in a duel to resolve it. I can be the judge here with all the Eastern Sea friends witnessing it. If anyone needs resources or has anything to sell, you can step up and state your requests. Every year from now on, at this time period, I will hold Qi banquets. Of course, I will not charge any transaction fees. Ancestor is wise. Ancestor is impartial and magnanimous, we are in deep admiration." Eastern Sea's immortals quickly praised. Jun Shenguang shook internally. Qi ancestor is using this move to increase his influence over Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world. Great strength would lead to admiration, while great benefits would lead to influence and power. Furthermore, he was going to hold Qi banquets every year. Jun Shenguang could predict the Qi banquets would get larger and larger, they would involve the entire Eastern Sea Gu immortal world. When the 5 regions merge, Gu immortals from the other regions would even come over. In time, Qi ancestors' influence would not just affect Eastern Sea but the entire 5 regions. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1885, Banquet Transactions, Heartblood appears. 1885 Banquet Transactions, Heartblood appears. Qi Banquet. Transactions were undergoing. A Gu immortal walked up the stage, he wore a black robe and had messy hair. He raised his head and showed his appearance, it was an Eastern Sea lone immortal, Wu Ma Yang. He had an aquiline nose and his gaze was dark, he seemed to have an injury, he coughed while taking out a shell that was floating in the air. The Eastern Sea immortals looked over, they recognized what it was and quickly showed disappointed expressions. This was the shell of a small music clam, it was a rank 7 immortal material. Music clams were ordinary clams that contained sound path Dao marks. When they grow to desolate beast level, their size would increase, they would become giant music clams. After becoming an ancient desolate beast, their size would shrink again, becoming small music clams. The small music clam that Wu Ma Yang took out was dead and had no vitality, it was merely a rank 7 sound path immortal material. But Wu Ma Yang smiled coldly, "Everyone, calm down, why would I dare to embarrass myself at Ancestor's banquet? I am not selling this small music clam, but the music stored inside." Saying so, Wu Ma Yang cupped his fists at Fang Yuan, "Ancestor, please pardon my rude action." Qi ancestor nodded lightly. In truth, Fang Yuan and Wu Ma Yang had met long ago. Back then in Eastern Sea, Fang Yuan sold Bone Spike Immortal Gu to Wu Ma Yang. After getting Fang Yuan's agreement, he used his method and opened a slit in the small music clam. Instantly, everyone heard a crying sound emitting from within it. This voice was very weak, it was like a sobbing sound that had a music rhythm to it. If someone tried to investigate it, they would be restrained by this voice, they would get weaker and unable to resist it. Mortals would definitely fall prey to it, even Gu immortals would get lightly injured or die if it was a severe situation. However, after Wu Ma Yang let it emit its sound for a while, he shut it tight, the small music clam became silent, many Gu immortals sighed in pity before alerting themselves, they had been affected by it. This is rank 7 immortal material ghostly whale. Ancestor has great knowledge, I am willing to exchange this ghostly whale for any rank 7 dark path immortal material of equal value. It would be best if you have any black hole wood or dark thread algae. Wu Ma Yang announced. The Gu immortals below were silent for a while before someone said, "I have dark thread algae." Wu Ma Yang nodded in joy, he was about to answer when someone said, "I have black hole wood, I will exchange for your ghostly whale." After some negotiation, Yang left the stage in satisfaction. In the recent years, due to the 5 regions' earth trenches emerging, Eastern Sea gained an abundant source of cultivation resources even though they had the fewest earth trenches. Yang's ghostly whale was likely obtained from them. Even though Eastern Sea Gu immortals interacted often and held auctions commonly, they were mostly small events. How could they be as large as Fang Yuan's banquet? The Qi Sea banquet involved the entire Eastern Sea Gu immortal world after all. Treasure Yellow Heaven's transactions had gone up in numbers due to the earth trenches, but Treasure Yellow Heaven charged a fee for every transaction done. The transaction fee of Treasure Yellow Heaven varied according to the intensity of the treasure light, therefore, the more valuable the transaction item, the higher the transaction fee one would have to pay. Rank 7 immortal materials were already quite valuable. Yang tried to save as much cost as he could. After Yang walked down, another Gu immortal went up, selling a lump of fire. This fire was yellow inside and orange outside. It was filled with deep death energy. Once it was taken out, the surrounding air became dry like a desert, the temperature rose sharply. This is Drought Zombie Flame. The Gu immortal who sold this flame smiled. He came from Su clan, an Eastern Sea super force. He was called Su Luan, a righteous path member. Fang Yuan arranged them in the order of 1 righteous path followed by 1 lone immortal. This arrangement clearly took the Eastern Sea lone immortals into consideration. It was welcomed by them. And most wonderfully, he did not allocate any spots for demonic path Gu immortals. It showed a certain political attitude of Qi Sea ancestor. Eastern Sea's righteous path did not get upset by this arrangement. After all, Qi Sea ancestor was a lone cultivator in Eastern Sea himself. The Drought Zombie Flame caused a slight commotion. It was a rank 8 level flame. Fang Yuan had to wave his hand lightly as he forced the flame to gather into a tight lump. The temperature of the Qi Sea banquet gradually returned to normal. I am sure many people know what flame this is already. But I am not just selling the flame today, I am also adding in a Drought Immortal Zombie Lifespan Extension method. This method can allow a Gu Immortal who is near their lifespan limit to use the flame and become a Drought Immortal Zombie. I am sure everyone has heard of the Drought Immortal Zombie. Its battle strength rivals rank 8 Gu Immortals. But there was a lack of interest in this among the Gu Immortals. Currently, everyone knew about Heavenly Court's plan to repair Fate Gu. Once they succeed, immortal zombies would likely cease to exist. If Fate is restored, the world would not allow dead people to exist, they would all need to remain dead. Therefore, becoming a Drought Immortal Zombie did not have good prospects. After a while, a Gu Immortal asked, can a rank 7 Gu Immortal convert into a Drought Immortal Zombie as well? Su Luan nodded, of course, but the Drought Immortal Zombie body would not be complete, it would only be a small Drought Immortal Zombie. The battle strength will also be at rank 7. He did not dare to deceive anyone. In this situation, experts were everywhere, they would likely notice the truth. By then, he would have publicly offended Qi Sea ancestor, a rank 8 great expert, at his banquet. That was a problem that Su Luan and Su clan would not want to create. When Eastern Sea's righteous path sent representatives to this banquet, did anyone not bring gifts along with them? In contrast, only a small portion of the lone and demonic immortals did this. After all, Eastern Sea's righteous path forces had a lot of territory and businesses, they needed a good relationship with Qi Sea ancestor. Meanwhile, most of the lone and demonic immortals were alone, they did not have much restraints. Su Luan did not manage to make any trades in the end. But a few Gu immortals expressed their interest, they were willing to negotiate, it might be sold if the cost was lowered enough. This Drought Zombie Flame likely came from Eastern Sea's Zombie Alliance. Fang Yuan thought to himself, he had obtained the inventory list of Zombie Alliance from Shadow Sect's inheritance, among which, there were several Drought Zombie Flames in Eastern Sea's Zombie Alliance headquarters. Back then, Spectral Soul tried to refine Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu, he exposed Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance. Spectral Soul failed, Eastern Sea's Zombie Alliance was mobilized in the effort and reduced to nothing, it was wiped out by the combined effort of Eastern Sea's righteous path. Looking at the location, Su clan was one of the closest forces to Eastern Sea's Zombie Alliance headquarters. Other than them, there was Qinyu clan, Song clan, and Hua clan. After the Drought Zombie Flame, another Eastern Sea Gu Immortal walked up the stage. He slowly walked up and took glances at Qi Si ancestor from time to time. He saw that Fang Yuan had no response, his eyes were shut and he was relaxed. This Eastern Sea Gu immortal calmed down slightly, he let out a breath of air as he said in a hoarse voice, "I came here to exchange Immortal Gu." Saying this, he spread open his hand and revealed an Immortal Gu. Instantly, a bloody smell spread out rapidly, many of the immortals' hearts pounded intensely. This was the first Immortal Gu transaction since the banquet started. Everyone focused their attention and looked at this ladybug-like goo. It was small and delicate, with a bright red shell and an iron-black belly and head. Listening closely, one could seem to hear a thumping heartbeat from inside the ladybug. The sound of this heartbeat was very faint, but the more one listened, the louder and louder it got, echoing with the rhythm of the heartbeat of the Gu Immortal, thus affecting the heartbeat of the Gu Immortal as well. The immortals were a little shocked. Some of the weaker rank 6 Gu immortals here grunted, some had pale faces, they were evidently affected. What Immortal Gu is this? Even Gu immortals got injured, while mortals definitely cannot approach it. It is clearly a blood path Immortal Gu. This drowning uncle is too daring, he is publicly selling a blood path Immortal Gu at the Qi Si banquet. Is he not afraid that Qi Si ancestor and the Eastern Sea righteous path members would take action? Drowning uncle is a demonic path immortal, who in Eastern Sea does not know that? Ancestor did not state that demonic immortals could get on stage, but he still walked up so fearlessly. The immortals conversed among themselves. The righteous path Gu immortals had ugly expressions. Drowning uncle had killed countless people, but now he was feeling trepidation too. He cultivated water path but was specialized at dealing with water path Gu immortals. He drowned countless mortals and even targeted many Gu immortals of the righteous path. He was a heinous person with many sins committed. Until now, he was still under the arrest warrant of 5 super forces in Eastern Sea. During normal times, the righteous path Gu immortals would have ganged up to attack him already, but now was the Qi Si banquet. It was Qi Si ancestors' event. Who would dare to act rashly here? Regarding drowning uncle's matter, all the Gu immortals turned to look at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was still calm and composed, as if he was resting. He said nothing. Fang Yuan was still calm and composed, as if he was resting. He said nothing. After looking at Fang Yuan for a while, they gradually understood that Qi Si ancestor was likely not going to take action here. Drowning uncle became very excited. He had made the right gamble. He was greatly daring. If not, why would he go against Eastern Sea's righteous path forces? At the same time, he was meticulous and did not take risks blindly. Since ancestor allowed me to join the banquet, it meant that he would not do anything to me. Otherwise, he could have done so when I arrived. Such a person is high and mighty. Why would he spend effort on a small fry like me? Thinking so, drowning uncle spoke. This is rank 7 heart blood Immortal Gu. I caught it inside an earth trench. Will anyone exchange for it? After a momentary silence, many Gu immortals quickly bid for it. But no righteous path member took part. Blood path was created by Blood Sea ancestor. It had flourished for a while before the 5 regions righteous path suppressed and sealed it. Blood Sea ancestor was extremely capable. He actually set up his blood path inheritance in all 5 regions, causing blood path to continue existing until today, while the righteous path forces all try to research on it secretly. Transactions of Immortal Gu were only done through exchange for other Immortal Gu. There was no bidding here, it only depended on what Immortal Gu drowning uncle wanted. There were many Gu immortals who wanted to exchange for it. Many took out water path Immortal Gu. Water path was the most common path in Eastern Sea. The number of water path Immortal Gu was also highest in Eastern Sea. This heart blood Immortal Gu had incredible strength. Just from seeing it, it would have a great effect if used in battle. In normal situations, Gu immortals could not cultivate many paths due to conflicting Dao marks. But Eastern Sea had many Gu immortals cultivating blood path. Most of those primarily cultivated blood path, while several rank 7s and 6s cultivated it on the side. Seeing this, Eastern Sea's righteous path Gu immortals had even uglier expressions. Eastern Sea had many secluded cultivators. but to think that only Heart-Blood Immortal Gu would cause so many Blood Path Gu Immortals to show themselves. But Fang Yuan was not surprised. In the 500 years of his previous life, Blood Path was extremely popular. After the 5 regions merged, the number of Blood Path Gu Immortals rose drastically. By the time of the 5 regions' chaotic war, Blood Path became a mainstream path that could not be banned anymore. In the 500 years of his previous life, Fang Yuan was one of these people. I can try to get this Heart-Blood Immortal Gu. Song Zi Xing's inheritance had a Heart-Blood Premonition killer move. It is most appropriate to use this Heart-Blood Immortal Gu as the core. Fang Yuan developed this thought. Zhang Yin started to speak. I want this Heart-Blood Immortal Gu. I have several rank 7 Water Path Immortal Gu, you can pick any one of them. Furthermore, I will owe you a favor. This was the first time a rank 8 Gu Immortal had spoken in the auction. The surroundings went silent the moment he spoke. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1886, Red Heart Leaves, New Board Owner. 1886 Red Heart Leaves, New Board Owner. The moment Zhang Yin spoke, because of his rank 8 dominance, all the competitors backed off. Not only could they not outbid a rank 8 Gu Immortal, even if they did, they would have offended this rank 8 Lone Immortal. Sometimes, Lone Immortals were scarier than Righteous Path rank 8s, they were unrestrained and free, they did not have so many concerns like the Righteous Path members. As for why Zhang Yin had an interest in Heart-Blood Immortal Gu, that was his business, the Gu Immortals could not ask him why. As the Heavenly Court representative, Jun Shenguang watched this with deep worry. Qi Si Ancestor hosted this banquet that publicly traded Immortal Gu and Immortal materials. It satisfied the needs of many Eastern Sea Gu Immortals. After this banquet, Eastern Sea's Gu Immortals would have an abundance of suitable cultivation resources, their battle strength would rise sharply. This was great news for Eastern Sea's Gu Immortal world, but for Heavenly Court, it was not so good. Especially after Qi Si Ancestor declared earlier that this Qi Si banquet would be held annually. That was very frequent. Jun Shenguang could not help but think, is this Qi Si Ancestor too free and bored? He wants to hold banquets every year, isn't it tiring? Different from Treasure Yellow Heaven and other auctions, he is not collecting any fees, what is he after then? It seems that Qi Si Ancestor is not without ambitions, he is trying to raise his reputation. Making use of the Qi Si banquets to solidify his influence and reputation every year, in the future, whether he joins Heavenly Court or stays in Eastern Sea, he will benefit greatly. I heard that Qi Si Ancestor has many descendants. In the future, when these people roam Eastern Sea under Qi Si Ancestor's name, they will be well received by every force they visit. As a Heavenly Court rank 8, Jun Shenguang was astute, he gradually saw through some arrangements and plans. At this moment, information came from Heavenly Court. Fairy Ziwei told Jun Shenguang that he had to cooperate with other Gu Immortals and buy Heart-Blood Immortal Gu without raising any suspicions. Jun Shenguang frowned. He was not confused about why Heavenly Court wanted this Blood Path Immortal Gu. The truth was, Heavenly Court had been researching Blood Path all along, with great success. Jun Shenguang felt troubled as he transmitted secretly, the situation has changed. Earlier, Zhang Yin took action and bid for this Heart-Blood Immortal Gu using a high price. Fairy Ziwei, who was in Heavenly Court, hesitated for a moment, she arranged, then continued to observe them, I will ask others to do it. Jun Shenguang was a Heavenly Court representative, if he fought with Zhang Yin over a Blood Path Immortal Gu, Heavenly Court's reputation would take a huge hit. In Fairy Ziwei's original plan, he was only meant to help out. Heavenly Court placed great importance on this Qi Si banquet, they sent people like Jun Shenguang to come openly, but there were also secret members that were hidden among the rank 6 and 7 Immortals. This is a coincidence, I am interested in this Heart-Blood Immortal Gu as well. Yang Jun suddenly spoke. Right when Zhang Yin thought that he was about to succeed, this Eastern Sea rank 8 Lone Immortal also joined the competition. This change of events stunned many Immortals, even Fang Yuan became slightly puzzled as surprise flashed in his eyes. In Fang Yuan's previous life, Yang Jun participated in the battle over Dragon Palace. He had an immortal Gu house called Fragrant Treasure Horse Chariot. While chasing after Dragon Palace, he found Fang Yuan's traces and ruined his chances of sneaking up on it. Afterwards, Yang Jun suddenly helped out Duke Long and helped him to suppress the rank 8 immortal Gu house's resistance, before capturing it. After that, Yang Jun went into concealment and vanished without a trace. During the battle of repairing Fate Gu, Yang Jun did not appear to help Heavenly Court. During the battle, Heavenly Court was in a difficult spot. There was no way they would have any forces left unused. But Yang Jun did not show up. This showed that he was not a Heavenly Court member. He likely had some sort of agreement with Heavenly Court and would only act once for them. Then, is he working for Heavenly Court now? Fang Yuan had a thought that flashed by. This was not easy to deduce. Even with Fang Yuan's deep wisdom path attainment, due to the lack of clues and evidence, he could not be sure of it. Regardless of the situation, Fang Yuan instructed Zhang Yin to act more forcefully and try to obtain this immortal Gu. Thus, Zhang Yin smiled, "Yang Jun, the truth is I really like this immortal Gu. If you insist, maybe we can spar to decide this." Yang Jun frowned as he thought, Zhang Yin wants this immortal Gu even if he has to fight. Qi ancestor was able to defeat him in one move because of his overwhelming strength. But if I fight him, it will likely be a draw. Sigh, do I continue this and help Heavenly Court? Yang Jun fell into hesitation. When he was at his lowest, he received Heavenly Court's help. He owed them one favor, promising he would do one thing for them. This favor was just too heavy to bear. It became Yang Jun's worry eventually. Yang Jun thought about it. He decided to repay Heavenly Court's favor and resolve this agreement. This is a good chance. If I do not act here, during the 5 regions chaotic war, Heavenly Court will ask me to deal with Eastern Seas Gu immortals and I won't be able to reject them. Thankfully, I know about Drowning Uncle's situation. Thinking about this, Yang Jun smiled, Zhang Yin, don't be so impatient. It is not important to spar. This Heart-Blood Immortal Gu belongs to Drowning Uncle. I am sure that this Water Path Immortal Gu I am offering will satisfy him greatly. Saying so, Yang Jun took out an Immortal Gu. Drowning Uncle saw it and beamed overjoyed. He shouted, "Let's do it, I'll exchange for this Immortal Gu." Zhang Yin was dazed. What could he do now? Everyone was watching. He could not snatch it, otherwise, Qi ancestor would need to stop him. Even though they were in cahoots, they needed to act under their respective roles now. They had to keep up the act after all. Zhang Yin could not take action, neither could Qi ancestor. Right at this moment, Yang Jun stood up from his seat. He grabbed onto Heart-Blood Immortal Gu and tossed the Water Path Immortal Gu to the other party. The immortals showed varying expressions. Yang Jun moved extremely quickly. He had evidently used an immortal killer move. Wasn't he too impatient? Yang Jun let out a breath of air. He relaxed as he sat down, placing Heart-Blood Immortal Gu into Treasure Yellow Heaven. Buying or selling Immortal Gu in Treasure Yellow Heaven was very costly, but Heavenly Court did not mind it with their huge assets. Fairy Zi Wei obtained Heart-Blood Immortal Gu and quickly gave it to someone else. This person cultivated within Demon Judgment Board all his time. After getting Heart-Blood Immortal Gu, he shouted in joy, "Success has arrived." He got out of Demon Judgment Board. All the surroundings surged with blood light. Fragrance spread as clouds resounded with immortal music. Bloody petals flew in the sky like raining flowers. He was tall and had a handsome face. He smiled lightly and had a headband on his forehead. There was a lump of blood light behind his head. A formless flight of stairs seemed to have formed in the air as he walked down slowly. Fang Zheng was cultivating in front of the Demon Judgment Board. Upon seeing this, he knelt on the ground and said, "Fang Zheng greets Master. Get up, my disciple. I have gotten a crucial Immortal Gu. The blood path method that I conceptualized my entire life finally has its core and foundation. After staying in this Demon Judgment Board for hundreds of years, it is finally time for me to leave." This rank 8 Gu immortal spoke warmly. He stretched his arm as a formless force helped Guyu Fangjing to stand up. Fangjing cupped his fist again. "Congratulations, Master." Ever since the Eastern Sea journey, he got captured by Shen Songsheng and was brought back to Heavenly Court afterwards. Qin Dingling observed his luck. She suggested to Fairy Ziwei that he could be the next Demon Judgment Board Lord. After Fairy Ziwei discussed with Duke Long, they agreed to this. Fang Jing thus came to the Demon Judgment Board to cultivate. He became the disciple of the current Demon Judgment Board Lord. Demon Judgment Board was a rank 8 Immortal Gu house with a long history. When Blood Sea Ancestor caused chaos in the 5 regions, Heavenly Court sensed danger and a Heavenly Court predecessor followed the revelation of Fate Gu, finding a wild blood relation Immortal Gu. Blood relation Immortal Gu was rank 8, after Heavenly Court captured it, they added it to Demon Judgment Board. This caused every single blood path cultivator in the world to be detected by Demon Judgment Board as long as they were not rank 9. Heavenly Court relied on the information from Demon Judgment Board to execute their plans and exterminate the budding blood path trend in Central Continent. Furthermore, they passed the news from Demon Judgment Board to the other 4 regions, allowing their righteous path forces to deal with blood path more effectively. Blood path had not flourished, it was suppressed fiercely. Demon Judgment Board was the key contributor to this. After Blood Sea Ancestor created Blood Path, Heavenly Court had been researching it. Their gains were the greatest compared to any force in the world. The current Demon Judgment Board Lord, Red Heart Traveler, was a soul blood path cultivator. He had been in closed cultivation in Demon Judgment Board for years, researching and gaining great results. He allowed Heavenly Court's blood path to be far ahead of the 5 regions. Spiritual light flashed as 9 spiritual fairies suddenly appeared. She went to Red Heart Traveler. Red Heart, I was ordered to come here and gather with you. We are going to Western Desert to find trouble with Fang clan. Red Heart Traveler nodded slightly, instructing Fang Zheng before he left. Demon Judgment Board cannot be without an owner at all times. My disciple, you will take over as Demon Judgment Board Lord after I leave. My inheritance is inside the board. Not just that, the cultivation experiences of the past generations of Board Lords are also inside. From now on, you will cultivate inside Demon Judgment Board. It will benefit you greatly. I hope you can work hard and not slacken. Don't waste this fortune. Yes, Master, I will remember your teachings. I will never forget it. Guyu Fangjing quickly replied. Red Heart Traveler nodded before turning around and leaving. He and Guyu Fangjing had a very shallow relationship. If Fairy Ziwei had not given orders, he would not have taken him in as a disciple. Their relationship, however, provided him a huge help. Luck is truly profound and mystical. Earlier, Senior Qin Dingling told me that if I accept Fang Zheng as my disciple, once we become master and disciple in name, I would be able to use his luck to aid in my own cultivation. To think that I gained so much in just a short period of time. Before leaving, I should go and visit Senior Qin Dingling first. Red Heart Traveler said with deep emotions. 9 spiritual fairy nodded. They were in no rush for time. After Qin Dingling returned to Heavenly Court, she stayed in a specialized Immortal Gu palace. After the 2 met Qin Dingling, she inspected their luck. 9 spiritual fairies' luck had 9 spiritual lights. They were clear and clean, like leaves after withstanding a storm. They brought benefit to the world, giving off an aura of prosperity. Red Heart Traveler's luck was like a sun or blood pill. It was round and perfect without any flaws. It had just emerged from the clouds, grand and vast. It was truly an amazing sight. This showed that after years of closed cultivation, Red Heart Traveler had finally emerged to travel the world. He was going to spread his radiance throughout the 5 regions. Qin Dingling smiled as she told them that this would be a smooth trip. As long as they followed the plan, nothing bad would happen. After the 2 said goodbye to Qin Dingling, they flew in the sky. Passing by Embroidered Tower, they saw a Gu Immortal stationed there in a daze, not moving at all. 9 spiritual fairy looked down at Red Heart Traveler as she sighed. This is Feng Gu. After the loss in the River of Time, he became this despondent. Red Heart Traveler shook his head as his expression turned grim. He is comprehending his Tao now. When I was in closed cultivation in the board, I often fell into this state. We cannot interrupt him. 9 spiritual fairies showed a look of surprise. Oh. No wonder Fairy Ziwei is letting him do as he pleases. I am embarrassed. I inherited the 9 spiritual transformations inheritance. I have cultivated it wholeheartedly and did not modify it, so I was unaware of this. Red Heart Traveler consoled her. Your 9 spiritual transformations is the greatest transformation path inheritance in Heavenly Court. It has been modified by countless generations of predecessors. It is near the point of perfection that cannot be modified any further. Even though he cultivated blood path, he had an extremely gentle temperament. He was as soothing as the spring winds. 9 spiritual fairy smiled. Back then, when Master gave me the true inheritance, he said my aptitude was insufficient. Compared to geniuses like you, I can only feel admiration and envy. The 2 immortals talked and laughed as they left Central Heaven Gate, entering White Heaven and going towards Western Desert. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1887, Banquet ends, Desire to enter Dragon Whale. 1887 Banquet ends, Desire to enter Dragon Whale. Eastern Sea. Swish swish swish. Waves crashed onto the rocks by the island shore, bursting into white bubbles upon impact. Wicked winds howled, the sky was dark. This uninhabited island was not eye-catching in the huge Eastern Sea, but it actually hid 4 Gu immortals. The 4 Gu immortals were injured, one was lying down, either dead or alive, the other 3 were sitting and trying to heal their injuries. A moment later, someone coughed as he spat out mouthfuls of blood. Lord! The other 2 immortals who were still conscious quickly stopped healing their injuries as they gathered towards him. The person coughing blood was Miao Mingshen. This Gu immortal cultivated space path. He had rank 7 cultivation level, he was famous among Eastern Sea's lone immortals, he had a huge network and influence. Miao Mingshen was neither tall nor short, neither fat nor thin. In terms of appearance, he looked ordinary, only his flat and wide nose left a heavy impression on others. In terms of appearance, he was unassuming. But he was an ambitious person, being very good at building relationships, he had a lot of charisma. 3 Eastern Sea lone immortals, Immortal Hua Dai, Feng Jiang, and Gue Qi all looked to Miao Mingshen as their leader. The 4 were a group of Gu immortals with common interests. But now, Gue Qi was unconscious. His body was covered in a poisonous purple color, he was in great danger. Miao Mingshen wiped the blood off his face as he spoke with a pale expression, my injuries, cough cough, are not an issue. Gue Qi's condition is more severe. That's right, Gue Qi was hit by the ice-poisoned starfish, we do not have the way to heal him. Immortal Hua Dai was very worried. Feng Jiang's expression was cold as ice. The ice-poisoned starfish might have a troublesome poison, but I've heard that Su Chen and Fairy Jiu you can heal it. Miao Mingshen shook his head and sighed. Fairy Jiu Yu has some relationship with Ren Xiaoping while Su Chen is attending the Qi Si banquet, we cannot go and expose our identities and secrets. We can only rely on ourselves to heal him. I intend to use the extreme time pole to exchange for underworld yellow water and cleanse the poison of the ice-poisoned starfish. Lord! Immortal Hua Dai and Feng Jiang were both moved. Miao Mingshen laughed, just 1 rank 8 immortal material to save Gue Qi, it is worth the price. Speaking of which, we need to thank that demon Fang Yuan, if he did not defeat Heavenly Court this time, they would not have purchased time path immortal materials from Treasure Yellow Heaven so frantically. Immortal Hua Dai nodded as she sighed, indeed, that demon Fang Yuan actually obtained a red lotus true inheritance, he is able to control the stone Lotus Island, Heavenly Court suffered a great defeat, their losses were too severe. Feng Jiang was a little worried, this demon Fang Yuan is too crafty, Heavenly Court is without options against him. Now that Fang Yuan has a red lotus true inheritance, he is finally a huge influence. If he is not stopped, this Fang Yuan will become more terrifying, the entire world will be threatened by him. Immortal Hua Dai smiled, Feng, you are worrying too much, how can any of us deal with a powerful person like Fang Yuan, the world is so huge, will we ever meet him? Even if heaven collapses, giants will hold up the sky. Heavenly Court will not let him off, we just need to watch this quietly. This time, Fang Yuan used the stone Lotus Island to cause great harm to Heavenly Court, he naturally did not waste this chance, he put up the video of Heavenly Court losing in Treasure Yellow Heaven, letting the entire world view it. This way, Fang Yuan's reputation and prestige rose again, while Heavenly Court's fame was heavily damaged. It was logical that Immortal Hua Dai and Feng Jiang knew about this situation. But what they did not know was, Fang Yuan had disguised as Chuing and got close to them. He saved their lives before. Miao Mingshan sighed deeply to himself. He had deep ambitions, he was not willing to lead a normal life. Otherwise, he would not create a wide network and many connections. He even got the loyalty of Feng Jiang, Immortal Hua Dai, and Gue Qiyi. As an ambitious Gu Immortal, he had a complex feeling towards Fang Yuan's rise and immense strength. Fang Yuan's rise was too fast, it had not been 100 years, he already went from a mortal Gu master to a rank 7 Gu Immortal. And how long did Miao Mingshan take? Hundreds of years. In just this last period of time, Miao Mingshan watched the rise of Fang Yuan. It was like a drama that played out before him. Except he was not the main character. He felt that both he and Fang Yuan were rank 7 Gu Immortals, it was just that Fang Yuan had a rank 8 Immortal Gu house and controlled the stone Lotus Island, which resulted in his victory over Heavenly Court. But what about himself? Miao Mingshan looked at himself, he was truly pathetic. He was heavily injured, Gue Qiyi was on the verge of death while Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai were both injured. The cause of this was his enemy Ren Xiaoping, who aggressively chased after them. He was truly full of problems both internally and externally. At this moment, Miao Mingshan even questioned himself, was he wrong in trying to expand his network these years, was he wrong in getting the loyalty of these 3 immortals after so much hard work? If he was not wrong, why did he end up in this state? He thought of Qi Si Ancestor next. Qi Si Ancestor held his Qi Si banquet and invited the Gu Immortals of Eastern Sea. It was such a huge event that Miao Mingshan had heard of it long ago, he wanted to attend it. But because of Ren Xiaoping, he had to hide himself, he had lost this opportunity as a result. Miao Mingshan felt deep admiration and envy towards Qi Si Ancestor. If I can follow Qi Si Ancestor's example and cultivate in seclusion, would I be able to get stronger, would I avoid suffering from the devious schemes of Ren Xiaoping? Miao Mingshan gritted his teeth, he quickly dispelled this thought that wavered his determination. He let out a breath of air, he said to Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai, Fang Yuan is having a good life, he is backed by several venerables and does not lack cultivation resources, he is also an otherworldly demon and has control of spring-autumn cicada. After pausing for a while, he added, he is far beyond us, let's save old Gue first before we leave this place. Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai nodded in agreement. Miao Mingshan immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven and used the extreme time pole to exchange for Underworld Yellow Water. The transaction process was very smooth and no unexpected mishaps occurred. In the previous life, Heavenly Court not only occupied the River of Time to restrict Fang Yuan from finding the Stone Lotus Islands, they even worked with Southern Border's Righteous Path to suppress Fang Yuan in Treasure Yellow Heaven, stopping his businesses and aggressively buying Time Path immortal materials. But in this life, Heavenly Court was in a much poorer state. Even though they still allied with Southern Border's Righteous Path and suppressed Fang Yuan's businesses in Treasure Yellow Heaven, just their loss in the River of Time made them lose a huge amount of Immortal Gu. They needed to try to refine these Time Path Immortal Gu rapidly, they needed to refine them before Fang Yuan tried doing so. Thus, in this life, even though Heavenly Court did not lack Time Path Immortal materials in their inventory, they intensified their actions of purchasing Time Path Immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Miao Mingshan obtained the Underworld Yellow Water much earlier than in the previous life. Of course, he did not know the cause of it. Next, Miao Mingshan used the Underworld Yellow Water to cleanse Gue Qiyi's entire body. He used just the right amount, after all, this water was also corrosive on an undefended Gu immortal body. Gue Qiyi was completely cleansed of the poison, he slowly woke up and thanked Miao Mingshan. Miao Mingshan said some words of encouragement as Gue Qiyi's eyes turned red from gratitude. The 4 finally had the time to catch a breather, they started to think about their situation, how would they get out of this and deal with that accursed Ren Xiaoping. The 4 of them were just not enough. Ren Xiaoping was an enslavement path expert, he could fight a group on his own. This time, there were more than just him around. Ren Xiaoping's group was far stronger and more numerous than Miao Mingshen's group. Guiqi pondered and said, "The reason why Ren Xiaoping targeted us is because Lord has the method to enter the Blue Dragon Whale. It concerns Paradise Earth's true inheritance. Right now, we need to use this secret and invite allies to explore that Paradise Earth true inheritance before Ren Xiaoping. If we are late and Ren Xiaoping spreads news of this, not only will we lose our initiative, we will also be the target of all the Eastern Sea Gu immortals." Miao Mingshen nodded in agreement. Even though he did not like it, this was the only way now. Regarding the secret of the Blue Dragon Whale, it was better if fewer people knew of it. It was a pity that Ren Xiaoping plotted against Miao Mingshen. News would spread in a short time. Following Guiqi's method, not only would Miao Mingshen gain a bunch of Gu immortals to help him, gaining enough strength to fight Ren Xiaoping and protect their own lives, they would even be able to explore the Blue Dragon Whale. If they could gain anything inside, that would naturally be good. In this situation, he had to give up some of his potential future profits and share the secret with more people. Similar to the previous life, after Miao Mingshen and the rest discussed this, they decided on the participating members, including Chuing. When Fang Yuan received the invitation, he was still hosting the Qi Si banquet. During this period of time, more famous Eastern Sea Gu immortals came to attend the banquet. For example, Dragon Head Tortoise Immortal in Adversity Sea. All sorts of famous people came. Fang Yuan gained a deeper understanding of Eastern Sea's situation. Jun Shenguang, who was present, also collected information here. The truth was, southern border, northern plains, and western desert also had people here trying to gain information. That went without saying. Even though this was Fang Yuan's first Qi Si banquet, it had already caused a huge impact and influence. The Gu immortals of the 5 regions were very concerned. Eastern Sea had too many spare resources after all. During this period, more Gu immortals started to trade immortal Gu. Each transaction that succeeded meant that Eastern Sea's Gu immortal world would get slightly stronger. Jun Shenguang and the rest felt deeper pressure. If Fang Yuan wanted any of these immortal Gu or immortal materials, he would get Zhang Yin to buy them for him. He planned to stay here and remain motionless. He would just be a backdrop. But this backdrop was something nobody could ignore or look down on. The time is about right. The Qi Si banquet will end now. Fang Yuan spoke. The immortals were confused and felt perplexed. Why was it ending so suddenly? Fang Yuan smiled warmly. Transactions will never stop. How long would it take? Everyone here has important things to do. It is not good that I keep everyone waiting here. I held this banquet so that all of you Eastern Sea friends can meet up and have a nice gathering. Now, this goal has been achieved. The truth was, he had things to do now. These people should scram and get out of his way. Fang Yuan spoke politely. Even if any Eastern Sea immortal was unhappy, they would not dare to defy the #1 Eastern Sea immortal. The immortals quickly stood up and said their goodbyes to Fang Yuan. Song Qi Yuan and the rest left first. As leaders of their force, they were indeed busy with many things. They had a lot of territory to guard. Fang Yuan's words were music in their ears. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1888, Changes Midway. 1888 Changes Midway. Several days later, on a nameless island in Eastern Sea, 8 Gu immortals finally gathered. Miao Mingshen was the leader. Other than him, Guiqi, Feng Jiang, and Immortal Hua Dai were there. In addition, Xing Luozi, Tu Tu Tua, Tong Hua, and Fang Yuan were present. Even though I was reborn, it seems that the influence has not reached Miao Mingshen. Fang Yuan was disguised as Chuing. He observed without showing changes in his expression. Similar to the previous life, Miao Mingshen chose the same people without changes. But Fang Yuan was very different now. He was in a much better state than in the previous life. In the previous life, at this time period, he could not annex Qi Si Grotto Heaven. He could only take the resources of Qi Si Grotto Heaven and the 5 Xiang's public Grotto Heaven, consuming a portion of time. As for the rank 9 killer move Heaven form, it was still resisting Fang Yuan's refinement and was not as yet. And most regrettably, his plans in Green Ghost Desert had failed, his soul path cultivation was obstructed and could not progress. At the same time, his Daoist Gu productions fell drastically. In this life, at this point, he had already annexed Qi Si Grotto Heaven, he had rank 8 cultivation level and even became Qi Si Ancestor, obtaining huge political power. Heaven form was refined long ago, but he did not find more grotto heavens. Green Ghost Desert developed rapidly, his soul path cultivation also progressed smoothly. The production of Daoist Gu was also many times of his highest records in history. In the previous life, Heavenly Court dominated the River of Time, Fang Yuan had to fight desperately to escape. But in this life, Fang Yuan dominated the River of Time, Heavenly Court suffered severe losses and their prestige was greatly affected. Despite this, Heavenly Court had no choice but to continue building Immortal Gu houses, to send more reinforcements into the River of Time. They could not allow Fang Yuan to dominate the River of Time alone and find another Red Lotus true inheritance. His position in the River of Time was easy to defend while hard to attack. Fang Yuan also had many arrangements in Western Desert, Eastern Sea, Profound Literature Grotto Heaven, and Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. His progress was very smooth. After rebirth, Fang Yuan worked hard and used the 5 regions and 2 heavens as his chessboard. He played many different pieces and set up arrangements everywhere. His gains were not just in the present but would continue increasing for future periods of time. There was a similar situation as the previous life. Fang Yuan's businesses in Treasure Yellow Heaven were suppressed and targeted by the joint efforts of Central Continent and the Southern Alliance. Fang Yuan did not have any solution to this problem now. Firstly, his influence on the Southern Alliance was falling gradually. He did not have much of a bargaining chip, only his second aperture Immortal Gu had an intense attraction to several southern border Gu immortals. Secondly, be it Heavenly Court or the Southern Alliance, they had deep foundations and assets. Competing with them in Treasure Yellow Heaven through price and quantity was not wise. Fang Yuan's foundation was skewed towards Immortal Gu houses, and secluded domains of heaven and earth. Most of his cultivation resources were used for his own strength. For example, Daoist Gu, if he sold them in Treasure Yellow Heaven, this monopoly would be well received by the market. Southern Alliance would not affect his gains. But Fang Yuan did not do that. He chose to use most of the Daoist Gu on his own soul path cultivation. He was still trying every way possible to raise his battle strength. This decision made his business in Treasure Yellow Heaven even worse. He fell into a disadvantage against them. In terms of immortal materials, I have even less compared to my previous life. I refined Immortal Gu multiple times and used too much of them. I also gained many subordinates this time. Lady White Rabbit, Sixth Hare, and Fairy Meow Een died last time. But now, they are alive and well. I even took in the variant Human Alliance. Right now, the Sovereign Immortal Aperture is also raising many snowmen, rock men, hairy men, and others. I am trying to comprehend human path. Fang Yuan gained a lot more immortal materials than in his previous life. Just the annexation of Langya Blessed Land alone was an immense gain. But his expenditure also increased as well. The refinement of Luck Path and Wood Path Immortal Gu, the nurturing of variant humans, the gathering of 12 different immemorial year beasts, his other clones needed resources. He also faced several intense battles that required vast immortal essence. Many Gu worms were lost during those fights. All in all, be it internally or externally, Fang Yuan's situation was much better than the previous life. His only weakness was the lack of immortal materials. He was running out of certain immortal materials already. In this situation, Fang Yuan would not compete with Heavenly Court in Treasure Yellow Heaven at all. Heavenly Court was buying Time Path immortal materials. They wanted to obstruct Fang Yuan. Their attitude was even stronger than the previous life. Fang Yuan chose to avoid them. In this regard, he could not beat Heavenly Court alone, not to mention they had the Southern Alliance as well. Fang Yuan's following plan was to obtain Regret Gu and advance the bulk of his current Immortal Gu. This was the same as his previous life's plan. He currently had a large number of rank 6 Immortal Gu. Once they become rank 7, his battle strength would surge again in an all-round manner. Cooking Luck Pot alone was worth anticipating. In the previous life, I lacked time and did not get Red Lotus true inheritance. I had to act quickly in the Blue Dragon Whale's immortal aperture and could not tackle it with peace of mind. This time, not only do I want Regret Gu, I also want to try to get that Merit Obelisk. In fact, I want to get Paradise Earth's true inheritance and the Blue Dragon Whale itself. Fang Yuan calculated his time well. Very soon, Central Continent's Refinement Path Convention would start. They would try to repair Fate Gu. But that did not matter. Fang Yuan put Zhan Budu in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. This clone lived up to his expectations. He progressed rapidly and smoothly. When Fang Yuan appeared, Zhan Budu would cooperate with him and annex Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven without issues. He would save a lot of time in that regard. It could all be used to tackle the Blue Dragon Whale's tasks. His early investment was growing like a snowball. Soon, Fang Yuan would gain even more benefits. Miao Mingshan looked around and said solemnly, "Everyone, I have already explained the details of this expedition. I gave you all some time to consider. This is my first journey too. The risks are unknown, we might possibly die. If anyone wants to give up now, you can leave. I will definitely not stop anyone, I understand from the bottom of my heart." Nobody backed out. This involved Paradise Earth's true inheritance. Even if their paths were different, the Immortals still held great expectations towards it. These days, they had been thinking about what could be inside this Blue Dragon Whale. They did not know that Fang Yuan, who was beside them, already had a reliable plan to work with. Similar to the previous life, before the Immortals set off, Zheng Luozi went ahead to make the alliance agreement. Next, the Immortals went into the sea and used a method to find out each other's location. After that, they went into the undercurrent with Miao Mingshan taking the lead. They moved around through twists and turns. Fang Yuan was mixed among them as they followed Miao Mingshan. He had already made arrangements at the area that the Blue Dragon Whale appeared in the previous life, but he did not receive information about the arrival of the Blue Dragon Whale. If not for Miao Mingshan, he indeed might not find the Blue Dragon Whale. There were 8 Immortals here. They continued to travel for days. They used several undercurrents to travel. If there were no undercurrents, they would travel under the sea as well, being extremely low profile. Even if they met desolate beasts or ancient desolate beasts, they avoided them. If they saw any resources, they would ignore them. Along the way, the Immortals were led by Miao Mingshan as they conversed. The atmosphere was quite harmonious and lively. Miao Mingshan also became the central member of this group subtly. He managed the relationship between everyone meticulously. He was truly skilled at interpersonal communication. The Immortals traveled with days and nights without stopping. Miao Mingshan was afraid that Ren Xiuping would expose this matter, so he had to race against time. Suddenly, he slowed down as he showed an excited expression. "We are getting close." The Immortals were energized. Fang Yuan frowned lightly. Similar to the previous life, he had been using investigative methods on Miao Mingshan all along. He could not tell what method Miao Mingshan was using to search for the Blue Dragon Whale. And their current location was completely different from the previous life as well. As the Blue Dragon Whale got closer, the Immortals started to notice something strange. The seawater became more turbulent. Desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts increased in numbers. Fang Yuan and the rest had to resist them as they advanced, slaughtering desolate beasts as they forcefully created a path filled with blood. The Immortals fought desperately while Fang Yuan showed a peculiar expression. In the previous life, he had fallen for it, but this time, he was experienced. After considering this situation, he saw some of the peculiarities in this situation. It seems that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's test started in the sea. If I try to die now, will I get transported into the Blue Dragon Whale's immortal aperture? Fang Yuan felt that it was likely, but he did not want to take the risk. To play safe, he would follow his actions in the previous life, dying after a certain amount of time. Who is it? Right at this moment, Zheng Luozi shouted as he sent a killer move behind him, towards his left. The killer move did not have offensive power, but several figures appeared immediately. As expected of Zheng Luozi, this is a wonderful investigative method. The leading Gu Immortal smiled as he spoke. His aura surged as it destroyed Zheng Luozi's investigative method while also sweeping towards Miao Mingshan and the rest. Fang Yuan saw him and felt slightly dazed. Why is Shen Songxing here as well? This was different from the previous life. This person who only said one sentence and broke Zheng Luozi's investigative killer move was none other than Shen Clan's first Supreme Elder, Shen Songxing. This was a righteous path rank 8 Gu Immortal. Miao Mingshan and the rest only had rank 7 cultivation level. They were completely outmatched. Not only did Xianxia come, he even had many Gu immortals with him. There were Shen clan members and also lone cultivator experts like Ren Xiaoping. Fang Yuan had a shocked expression, he was obviously acting. His main body was here, not just Xianxia. Even if 4 of Eastern Sea's righteous path rank 8s came here, Fang Yuan would not fear them. Miao Mingshen and the rest were truly shocked. The enemies were too powerful, there was no way of contesting them. What should they do? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1889, Entering the Aperture. 1889 Entering the Aperture. Why are they here? Immortal Huadai gasped, she felt her body turning cold. If not for the dangerous situation, if I did not sense this mild peculiarity, I would not have found these people. Quickly leave. Zheng Luozi urged as he said anxiously. There is a traitor among us. We need to split up. Miao Mingshen said with an ashen expression, he understood already. He looked around at Tu Tu Tua, Tong Hua, Zheng Luozi, and paused when he looked at Fang Yuan. Evidently, his biggest suspicion was Chuing because he did not know about this person's background. Ha ha ha, I wanted to follow you all into the blue dragon whale, but since you found out, none of you will escape. Xianxia said as he moved his finger, sound waves spread out and shot towards Miao Mingshen and the rest. Miao Mingshen and the rest were surrounded by these sound waves as their speed fell drastically. SSSSSSSSH. Xianxia started whistling in the depths of the sea. Immortal Huadai gasped as she was tied up by countless sound waves. Xianxia dragged her away immediately. Huadai. Feng Jiang watched and stared with a furious expression. He tried to help her but was too weak. Xianxia captured him too. Xianxia had rank 8 cultivation level, his sound path methods were quite profound. In the previous life, he captured rank 8 Gu immortal old man Bei Feng alive in Hidden Dragon Cave. It was much simpler now to capture weaklings like Immortal Hua Dai and Feng Jiang. Leave! Feng Jiang shouted loudly. But soon, Xianxia grabbed his neck and he fainted. He snorted coldly, attack. The Shen clan Gu immortals around him and Ren Xiaoping found their targets and attacked. They had followed behind closely, having already discussed among themselves who to fight. Not only was their attack coordinated, they helped each other out. The only who attacked Fang Yuan was Shen clan Gu immortal Shen Tan. He was an ordinary water path Gu immortal. He shot out a water ring that was the size of a vat, it flew towards Fang Yuan's head. Fang Yuan did not want to fight, he turned into a small seahorse that was palm-sized, he moved like lightning speed. Shen Tan missed his target, he was shocked and attacked with 3 more water rings, they appeared before Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan turned into a fish and swerved around with great agility, dodging all 3 rings. Shen Tan's expression turned ugly, he called out to Ren Xiaoping, lend me a hand. Ren Xiaoping was attacking Tong Hua with 2 vicious sharks. Hearing Shen Tan's words, he nodded, of course. A vicious shark that was attacking Tong Hua quickly turned around and swam towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan looked around him, he found that if he got past this obstacle, he would be the frontmost person charging out. He quickly stopped as he pretended to be obstructed by the vicious shark. Because of this, Shen Tan laughed loudly as he moved his 4 water rings, blocking Fang Yuan. Where can you run to now? He had no idea who he had obstructed. If he knew Chu Ying's true identity, he would be shivering in fear now. Fang Yuan pretended to be trapped while patiently observing his allies. Tu Tu Tua was also obstructed. As an earth path cultivator, his speed was not fast, it was even slower in water. Tong Hua was busy dealing with 2 of Ren Xiaoping's vicious sharks. Zheng Luozi was like a white ghost in the sea, he moved around swiftly and competed with Shen clan's Shen Qi in speed, they were well ahead. Gue Qi and Miao Mingshen moved together. When Shen clan's 2 Gu immortals got close, he shouted, Lord, quickly go, I will stop them. He stopped as he pushed with his palms. With a loud sound, a huge area of black fog spread out. Shen Clan's 2 Gu immortals were moving too rapidly, they entered the fog and vanished into thin air. Old Gue, take care. Miao Mingshen knew the severity of the situation, he had tears in his eyes as he flew up. Shen Songxing suppressed Feng Jiang and Immortal Hua Dai completely as he snickered, where are you going? Saying this, countless sound waves chased after Miao Mingshen. Miao Mingshen's hair stood on end as alerts rang in his mind, his gaze flashed like lightning as he grunted, activating his space path killer move. His figure vanished instantly, appearing 100 steps away. At the next moment, he vanished again, he moved 100 steps further from Fang Yuan and the rest. As he flickered continuously, Miao Mingshen escaped and charged out of the sea. Shen Songxing gasped lightly, feeling surprised. He had used a genuine rank 8 method, Miao Mingshen was actually able to escape from it, it was very impressive. Miao Mingshen was the most important person, Shen Songxing did not care about Immortal Hua Dai or Feng Jiang, he did not have time to store them into his immortal aperture, he tossed them to others and flew out to chase Miao Mingshen. Miao Mingshen charged out of the sea as sweat poured out of his forehead. My escaping method could usually move 100 li with one flicker, but before Shen Songxing, I could only move 100 steps away. Is this the power of a rank 8 Gu immortal? Suddenly, there was a sound behind him as Shen Songxing broke out of the sea. Miao Mingshen's body shook, his speed fell as he had fallen into Shen Songxing's killer move's range once again. Seeing that he was about to be captured, Miao Mingshen struggled intensely, he felt deep despair in his heart. Right at this moment, there was a shrill cry resounding. An immemorial thunder phoenix flew over and attacked Shen Songxing. The immemorial thunder phoenix attacked fiercely, intense winds blew as Shen Songxing's expression changed, he did not dare to be careless, he let off Miao Mingshen for the time being and faced the immemorial thunder phoenix instead. With a loud sound, the immemorial thunder phoenix sent Shen Songxing flying into the sea again as huge waves were created. Miao Mingshen used this chance to flicker and escape, his body was covered in cold sweat. At this time, he finally had time to observe the surroundings. Only to see that above the sea, intense tornadoes surged in the sky, lightning flashed continuously as thunder rumbled, dark clouds extended to the horizons. The sea was in a frenzy, waves surged from the sea, they were thousands of feet tall. Countless flying birds and eagles fought intensely amidst the thunder and lightning. Blue charm lightning shadows flickered in the dark clouds, they were hunted down by immemorial desolate beast Thunder Phoenix. The situation was too dangerous. Where in the world did I end up at? Miao Mingshen took a deep breath in shock. Catch them. Right at this time, Shen Tan's anxious voice could be heard behind him. Just earlier, Shen Tan received the 2 captives that Shen Songxing tossed him. Fang Yuan used that chance to not only destroy the water rings but also help the others out. Tong Hua, Xing Luo Zi, and Fang Yuan got out of the sea, flying into the sky. Don't think of running. Shen Qi, Shen Tan, and Ren Xiuping chased after them. At the same time, lightning flashed in the sky and shot towards the immortals. The immortals quickly attacked to block it. Another group of eagles flew down and scattered the group of people, the scene was a chaotic mess. All of you, scram. At the next moment, an intense sound wave burst out from the depths of the sea. Sound waves shot out of Shen Songxing as he flew out of the sea and towards the sky in an instant, he waved both hands as 2 translucent sound waves moved around the battlefield like 2 sharp blades. Immortal killer move, aerial sound blades. Wherever the sound blades went, be they eagles or lightning, they were all cut into 2, even the immemorial thunder phoenix was injured and moved back. A sound blade went around Tong Hua and quickly slit through Xing Luo Zi's throat. Xing Luo Zi stared with wide eyes as his head fell off his body. A sound blade went after Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan sighed to himself, he made a turn and burst out with speed, he charged on the closest route to the immemorial thunder phoenix. At the next moment, his body became charred by lightning, he died on the spot. Shen Songxing did not even look at Fang Yuan's corpse, he went after Miao Mingshen immediately. Within the Blue Dragon Whale Paradise. Starting Island. Fang Yuan opened his eyes as he woke up. I arrived here after all. He stood up and looked around him. The sea was blue with white waves, there was a golden sandy beach, the temperature was warm and nice, this was a serene location. Fang Yuan saw Xing Luozi here as well. He was clearly killed by Shen Songxing's sound path killer move, he was beheaded. But now, he lay near the beach, he breathed normally but was unconscious, his head was still attached to his body. As expected. Fang Yuan was not surprised, the illusion started long ago, within it, whoever dies would not die for real. Fang Yuan was killed by the immemorial Thunder Phoenix and arrived here afterwards. Xing Luozi was killed by Shen Songsheng but arrived here as well. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created Reincarnation Battlefield in Central Continent, it had a similar trait. Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects occupied that place and sent Gu immortals to fight inside it. No matter who died inside, they would not lose their life, they would only sustain some injuries or damage if they died too many times. Thus, Fang Yuan did not do anything earlier. Even if he killed Shen Songsheng, he would not die, he would even get transported here earlier, while Fang Yuan would have exposed his identity for no reason. Fang Yuan waved his hand as a chi blade flew towards Xing Luozi. Xing Luozi did not have any defenses up, but right before the chi blade landed and killed him, it vanished. Fang Yuan snorted coldly, turning around and leaving. When Shen Songsheng woke up, he felt that his vision was still blurry, but a joyful sound was heard beside him, "First Supreme Elder, you finally woke up." Next, his vision cleared up, he saw Shen Qi, Shen Tan, Ren Xiaoping, Miao Mingshen, Hua Dai, Feng Jiang, Tong Hua, and the rest, they were in a nervous standoff. What happened? Didn't I die? Shen Songsheng was internally shocked, he felt that this was unreal. As a rank 8 Gu immortal, he lasted the longest in the illusion, he was also the final person who arrived. First Supreme Elder, this is likely Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's method, it is similar to Central Continent's reincarnation battlefield. Shen Tan said. Shen Songsheng managed to calm down as he nodded, this is indeed the style of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. At the next moment, his eyes flashed like lightning as he looked at Miao Mingshen and the rest, asking directly, "How long have you been awake for?" "We had just woken up too." Shen Qi answered. Shen Songxing nodded, he looked at Miao Mingshen, Immortal Hua Dai, Feng Jiang, and Xing Luozi. These people were either captured or killed by him, but now, they were alive and well. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable truly had unfathomable methods. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1890, Where is Chuing? 1890 Where is Chuing? Where are we? Tell me everything that you know. Shen Songsheng said as he attacked Miao Mingshen again. The result was that his killer move vanished upon activation, Shen Songsheng grunted as blood flowed out of his nose, he had sustained injuries from the backlash of the killer move. First Supreme Elder, hold on, this place seems to forbid fighting. If you have the intention to fight, any killer move or goo worm activation will fail. In contrast, healing yourself will not be obstructed. Shen Tan said. Why didn't you say that earlier? Shen Songxing stared with furious eyes. Shen Tan felt wrongly accused as he thought to himself, wasn't it because you acted too quickly? He could not say that of course, Shen Tan lowered his head and apologized. Miao Mingshen and the rest let out sighs of relief. They were also healing their injuries. When they woke up, they saw the Shen clan Gu immortals around and attacked without thinking, they had suffered intense backlash as a result. Shen Tan and the rest were in similar situations. But at that time, Shen Songsheng had not woken up, nobody knew if a rank 8 Gu immortal would be restricted as well. It seems that even rank 8 Gu immortals cannot defy the arrangements of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Miao Mingshen let out a breath of air, after seeing that Shen Songxing had failed, he calmed down completely. They were temporarily safe. Shen Songxing heard this as bright light flashed in his eyes, it seems that we are inside the immortal aperture world of the blue dragon whale. Miao Mingshen did not acknowledge or deny his words. Gue Qi who stood beside him stared at Tong Hua furiously, Tong Hua. You betrayed us. Tong Hua lowered her head and did not speak, looking ashamed. She was standing beside Ren Xiaoping now. The traitor among Miao Mingshen's group was her. Earlier, when Shen Songsheng used his killer move in the illusion, he avoided her, everyone saw that. And now, her status was exposed. Immortal Hua Dai had a cold expression. Fairy Tong Hua, to think my lord trusted you so deeply, when you had to fix your immortal aperture after tribulation, he helped you so much. Not only did he help you, he even invited you to explore the blue dragon whale. You actually betrayed our kindness with enmity. Why did you betray us? Where is your conscience? Tong Hua wanted to speak but she turned around and stopped looking at Miao Mingshen and the rest. Miao Mingshen sighed heavily as he stopped Immortal Hua Dai. Fairy Tong Hua probably has her own difficulties, forget it, everyone has their own goals. Tong Hua's gaze flickered intensely. Lord, you are too kind-hearted. How can we let this kind of people off? Immortal Hua Dai stomped her feet. Ren Xiaoping smiled arrogantly. He was the one who made Tong Hua a traitor. Miao Mingshen, you need to understand this situation clearly, you need to know who is the stronger side. Tong Hua was wise to have chosen us. If you surrender and hand over all your information, we might spare you. Immortal Hua Dai was still furious about it. This was their fortuitous encounter but these people wanted to snatch it away and threaten them. She rolled her eyes as she called out, I'm so scared, why don't you come attack me, my entire body is shivering from fear. Shen Songsheng's expression turned cold. Ren Xiaoping squinted as he smiled even more coldly. Girl, you have a sharp tongue, do you think Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's methods can protect you for a lifetime? After you leave this place, when we get back to Eastern Sea, can any of you resist Lord Shen Songsheng? Even inside here, do you think Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's arrangements are perfect without a single loophole? Immortal Hua Dai's expression froze. Miao Mingshen and the rest had grim expressions, especially Zheng Luozi. He looked at Shen Songsheng with fear in his eyes. After all, he was killed earlier by a killer move. It is uncertain who will win. Let's go. Miao Mingshen did not want to waste time on arguments, he turned around and left this beach. This person had the special method to find the blue dragon whale, he definitely knows more than us. Follow him. Shen Songsheng quickly ordered. They could not fight now, following Miao Mingshen was the best alternative. The two groups walked with some distance between them, they moved in silence. Soon, they got out of the beach, arriving in a dense forest. This forest is a bit strange, the leaves of the trees have empty heart-shaped spaces at the center. Immortal Hua Dai said in confusion. These are just ordinary trees. Feng Jiang checked and touched a tree trunk with his hands. With a soft sound, the tree that he touched collapsed, it shattered into a pile of wood dust. What is going on? The immortals sensed a commotion and quickly gathered. These are not ordinary trees, they are rank 7 immortal plants, cloud ladder trees. Shen Songsheng looked as he said grimly. They arrived as well. Seeing that the rank 8 Gu immortal was standing beside them, Miao Mingshen and the rest felt their hearts tighten but they quickly relaxed. Gue Qi said arrogantly, Old Shen, do you think we are ignorant? I know about cloud ladder trees, this tree has dense wood path and cloud path Dao marks. Every 100 years, it grows by 10 inches, which is one step of a ladder. How can these be cloud ladder trees? With such a height, they have to be 100 steps at least, that means these cloud ladder trees have lived for 10,000 years. He. But Shen Songsheng was calm and composed, these are cloud ladder trees. You only know a portion of the details. Cloud ladder trees are a rank 7 immortal material, the leaves of 10,000-year-old cloud ladder trees would form the rank 8 immortal material, cloud ladder leaf heart. Once all of the cloud ladder leaf hearts are taken away, the cloud ladder tree would collapse into a pile of wood dust, becoming an ordinary material. Gue Qi was stunned before he smiled coldly again, pointing forward. Then you mean to say that this dense forest is filled with 10,000-year-old cloud ladder trees? This is too laughable. Shen Songsheng nodded. Cloud ladder trees are quite rare, of course, this forest isn't made up of such a precious tree. But at the very least, this particular plant was a cloud ladder tree. Shen Songsheng was very certain while Gue Qi stuck to his views. he pointed at a tree nearby. Then according to Lord Xianxia, this tree, and that tree are also 10,000-year-old cloud ladder trees. Huh, look, all of their leaves have an empty heart-shaped space. There are so many cloud ladder trees, how many rank 8 immortal material cloud ladder leaf hearts are there? Isn't there too much of this rank 8 immortal material? How different is it from a plain cabbage you grow in your farm? The immortals were looking at Xianxia, his expression also changed slightly. On this island, investigative methods were not very useful, but he had already inspected his surroundings gradually. He walked quickly and struck several tree trunks. Once he touched these cloud ladder trees, they turned into wood dust. Xianxia gasped as he said to his subordinates, these were all cloud ladder trees, but the leaf hearts on them had all been taken away. These are valuable rank 8 immortal materials, quickly look for any that are left behind. The Xianclan Gu immortals believed in Xianxia, while Ren Xiuping and Tong Hua believed him to some extent. Because of his reputation, they had to obey him and spread out to search. As cloud ladder trees got destroyed one after another, none of the immortals found any cloud ladder leaf hearts. The entire forest was made of cloud ladder trees, there were no trees left here. Even while Xianxia walked out of this dense forest, he started to suspect his own finding. Are these really cloud ladder trees? If they are, there are simply too many of them, right? The immortals left the forest, they saw the yellow sandy ground. As wind blew, dust clouds moved in the air. It was a desolate land. This was everyone's first impression. The air seems to have the smell of clear wind grass stems. Xianxia sniffed as he crouched down, moving the soil and exposing the holes in it. Xianxia's expression changed. At this time, Zhang Luozi also sensed something strange. He called out, this place must have an entire field of clear wind grass stems planted here in the past. I've smelt this aroma before, it is this. There are holes here, each is as large as a fist, the walls of the holes are all smooth and round. This is the effect of the roots of clear wind grass stems. Miao Mingxian was stunned. Clear wind grass stem is a rank 7 immortal material. This means that this area filled with holes was once an entire field of clear wind grass stems. Even though it is unthinkable, don't forget that we are inside the blue dragon whale now. This is the location of a paradise earth true inheritance. Hua Dai's words were like a stone dropped into the hearts of the immortals. Xianxia frowned as he looked at Miao Mingxian, asking, why is there someone missing from your side? Miao Mingxian was stunned. He realized why he had felt something strange earlier. After hearing this reminder, he understood, indeed, someone was missing. Chuing is not around. Feng Jiang said grimly. Where did he go? Speaking of it, he died really early, he should have arrived here long ago. Did he awaken earlier than us? Did he take away all of the immortal materials here? The immortals were all astute figures, because they were at conflict earlier and the atmosphere was tense, they did not think so much when exploring the island. Once this topic started, everyone became anxious. Xianxia stopped following Miao Mingxian, he moved rapidly and advanced. Miao Mingxian hesitated, he decided to follow. The immortals quickly arrived in front of a huge pit. This hole was tens of li wide, it was hundreds of feet deep, there were some fragments left in the hole. Tu Tua picked up these fragments as he looked, shouting instantly, oh heavens! This is the rank 7 immortal material rooster iron. Which bastard took everything away, only leaving behind these fragments? Tu Tua stared with wide eyes, he shouted loudly. Rooster iron only exists in mines exposed to open air. When roosters sing, heaven turns white. With such a wide span of rooster iron here, when wind blows, there will be resonance, rank 8 immortal material heavenly white snow iron will be produced. Xianxia said with a cold tone, we need to find that Chuing as quickly as we can. All the immortals were anxious. All these immortal materials were likely taken by Chuing. They needed to find him. They quickly spread out and called his name, but they could not find even a trace of Fang Yuan. All they saw were holes and pits, dried rivers and a large field of land with their plants uprooted and taken away. A saying from Chairman Mao. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.